right, welcome back to CrossCourt Conversations. Today we got 3D, Danny Vang, Sax Finest. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I wouldn't say sex finest. I'd just say, I'm just being me, man, trying to be the best.
So I
That was
got
a
I
long
gotta
time ago.
I gotta tell these guys a little story about about you and the first time that we kind of met each other on the court when you guys I forget what year, I think maybe it was 2005, y'all, if I when you guys came up as live.
We made our last run.
Yeah,
Yeah, we came our last
yeah.
run.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure how many years you guys came before that, but I remember that one because you guys played us. And then I remember so so there's a player in the NBA. I don't know if Danny, I don't know if you know him, or I'm sure our audience would can go YouTube him, but yeah, his name is D'Angelo Russell, and he was like a young kid yet, and he was watching Blake Griffin dunk the ball. So Blake Griffin, he just walked into the gym, and D'Angelo Russell was a little kid yet. So Blake Griffin walks into the gym, he throws the ball off the wall, jumps up, grabs it, and just dunks it. And D'Angelo Russell's uh, reaction was exactly what my reaction to you when the first time I saw you when you guys were playing us, because you literally just told your setter, hey, just two straight up, and you took it and you just bam, just bounced it. And my thought was like D'Angelo Russell. I was like, damn, this dude didn't even stretch yet, man. He just came out of nowhere and just like cranked it straight down, bro. I was like, damn, dude, did you even stretch? Did you stretch though?
No. It's funny as it sounds. Like my motto, and thanks for the wonderful introduction. It's very, very, kind of you to say such words about me. But my motto is always, if you keep your physique up, your training should never be on the court. It should always be off the court.
Mhm.
So when you walk on the court, the 10 minutes or 15 minutes that is given to you on the court is not for me to warm up. It's for me to get used to the court. Where is the court, what angle, when, stuff like that. Height, just the elements alone to get used to it.
Mhm.
So like for me, it's like, my physique was always my number one pet peeve. If I want to be a performer, if I want to be an athlete, not a player, but an athlete, my physique has to be there, no
Mhm.
matter what anybody say. So I train my ass off. And, so when I wanted to get on the court, I was basically warm. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. So when I get on the court, it's like, give me a shoot, give me a two or three, whatever. It's just to basically get used to, okay, I can adapt to it. I can get used to the court, the level, the angle, all this stuff, just to get used to it. So when I
Yeah.
got on there, I was just like, okay, I want to see where I'm about. And so again, the thing with me is that when I get on the court, I play my ass off. I play my heart out. And so my warm up is important. If I get in there and if there's no blockers and I can't put the ball down the way I wanted to, I feel discouraged, man. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do, man?
Yeah.
There's no blockers. I can't even put it down. But if I get in there, I'm like, give me a 1, 2, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it. Like my motivation comes up a notch. It's like I feel unstoppable. Like, just give me the ball, man. I'll put it away. So that was just kind of my thing was,
Yeah.
and it's like my my warm up, my training was basically off court. So when I got on the court, that was just using that just to,
Well,
just
let
do
me
my
tell you
thing.
guys. Let me tell you guys this. He was definitely filling out the where the 5 foot line was, because that's literally where he was hitting, man. I was like, man, this dude for real? Yeah, that. But that was the first time that I saw you play, and I was like, damn, this dude's for real, man. And I think we had a pretty good back and forth match, and you guys eventually went on to beat us, and it went on to semifinals. And I think yes, yeah. But we'll talk about that later. But Danny, so growing up, who made the biggest impact on you as a player? Like who kind of drove you and
My biggest impact as a player was I don't know if you guys know him, but a lot of people know him back in the
name
day,
drop?
back in the
Yeah.
80s. Actually, his name is Kambi Lee,
Okay. Okay.
and he, he inspired me because he was short. He's about my height, maybe even a little bit
Where's he
shorter.
from?
Here in Sacramento.
Okay.
So, and he was definitely he played with superpower, with Zoli,
Yep.
MSU, the
Mm-hmm.
OG there. I played with them. And he was just one of those guys. I mean, like I said, I mean, though he was a taller guy, he was a great player. But he didn't have as much dimensions as Gumby did. I mean, that guy passed, that hit, blocked, all that stuff. And as a short guy, I was like, damn, I think I could do it. I think I can do it too. I don't see why I can't do it. And so, you really just kind of opened my eyes to saying, age, height wasn't really a factor because you can get in there. And the reason why I stuck with volleyball too was because it's just that very factor, being able to play basketball. I have a short story about that, about basketball.
Yeah.
Because of my vertical, I went out there and my brother and they're like, dude, you can jump, play center. So they wanted me to get rebound and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so
Wanted you to play center?
yeah, so because
Okay.
my vertical, they wanted me to get the rebound. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
I could do that. I could do that. And I didn't think that basketball had a lot of body contact,
Mhm.
And
It's cool.
so yeah, and somebody did a 3-point shot, the ball bounced up. I went up and the dude right next to me literally nicked my thigh, the back of my thigh. And I went up like that. I thought I was gonna
Yeah.
land on my back of my neck. I was like, I'm done playing basketball. With my size, no,
Yeah.
never. So
Yeah.
that shifted me off. And so that's how I got into the whole volleyball thing. Was wait, I can be small and I can step into the court and put fear in my opponent, without having man, you're small, move,
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all started that. But he was basically who inspired me, into the sport. He's a short guy and that guy could jump. I mean, he could jump. So
You
yep.
ever get a chance to like talk with him or anything like that? Because I'm curious to know like what kind of got him going. If you know what I mean, if you were looking up to him.
That guy was, I mean, he was good. I mean, if you seen him play, that guy was good. Like I would say back in what the mid to late 80s, there were so many tournaments, trophy tournaments. It wasn't even cash tournaments.
Mhm.
And he was playing, man. This guy was like cutting balls left and right and putting it down. Like I was like, dang, it's like the guy that was doing most of the dirt was the short guy, not the bigger guy, the short guy. So that kind of just, dawned on to me. It kind of opened my eyes, say, damn, I want to be like him. And so with him, he's a competitor. So once he mastered the sport, he jumped from sport to sport. So he played with us in '05. He came in and set for us in '05 when our main player, my setter, hyperextended his knee. And so we're a short player. We were gonna forfeit or pull him in, and he was drunk, but we just pulled him in. We're just like, dude, we need a 6 player, man. You need to get in just so we don't get forfeited. So that's how we lost. But and then he converted from that into playing football.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
he yeah, the minute he mastered that, he's just like, nah, it's no longer competitive. Like I talked to him, he said, I mean, he's kind of like me. He's like, man, I'm an athlete. I thrive on being the best.
Yeah.
And so doing this, it's no longer competitive for me. It's getting too easy. So he started setting here and there, but then he started focusing on football. So that was his
Mm-hmm.
sport. He converted to that. So
Dang.
a lot of the younger folks didn't see him play long. It was
Mm-hmm.
our generation to the older generation that saw him play.
Yeah. Talk about Super Pros a little bit. I've never had a chance to play with them, but like, how were they?
They were back then. Volleyball was much different from when we played. The rotation was different. Some tournaments they didn't even have to rotate. You know, this is back in the '80s. So like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't start playing until probably what I would say about 90.
Mm-hmm.
90. 93, 92, 93 is when I started playing. So, watching these guys growing up, it was different. It was a completely different sport. They play different. But I mean, like I said, they kept feeding whoever's hot. It wasn't
Yeah.
like us, like, oh, you
Yeah.
went out of rotation. It's like if he can jump or if he can, hit from back row, like as you see back then when we were playing, probably I would say about 99, 2000, we didn't use a lot of backcourt. We didn't even use
Hmm.
backcourt, until recently when we started having taller players and more aggressive players that we're using more backcourt than we were now. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
kind of like that, where we're
Yeah.
just kind of like, the setters was just feeding that one player all over, like front, left, maybe don't matter, that's
Yeah.
kind of how it
Yeah.
is. And there
Yeah.
was a designated DS and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a completely different format then.
Okay.
But
Can you
yeah,
talk
it's a
about
good
your
team.
early?
They were a good team.
Yeah.
They played,
Yeah.
they played for a while.
Hmm. Yeah, I hear that name ring
Yeah.
up. Like, every OG that we talk to, they bring up, you know, uh, all their names and those team names. You know what I mean? So I hear it, but like I've never seen them play. So you chop on, I mean, you just take everybody's word for it. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
So, but
right.
that's the stuff that I kind of like, though. You know what I mean? Like you guys talking about the old school teams. You know what I mean? So that's the stuff that kind of immortalizes our forefathers. Like all the
Right,
people that kind of brought up the game. You know what I mean?
right, right.
It's good to
Yeah,
talk
and
talk about.
it, it's it's our it's our memories, our fond memories
Yeah,
and recollections of, like, these guys being our superheroes, that
yeah, I
that
know.
it keeps going, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's better that way to not have video,
Yeah, I
because
know.
then, they were, like, they wouldn't exceed some people's expectations, like, what, you
Yeah,
guys are ranting and raving, that's all they did. But like during that era, you gotta compare eras, like during
mhm,
that time, that guy was unstoppable. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you want to compare him to today's knowledge and youth and height and, the techniques and stuff like that, it's gonna be different, but
yeah,
definitely during that time, yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely. Can you talk about your early years? Like, did you play high school, or what got you into volleyball? What type of training you did, and all that?
I got into volleyball at a very young age, man. Like,
Hmm.
both my older brothers played. My oldest brother played competitively too, but he didn't really continue long, play for like a year or two. And then I got into weightlifting. I got into weightlifting very young. And I had a buddy with me, and in junior high, we kind of grew up together as kids. And he went to volleyball, I went to weightlifting. And so I never thought much about my vertical because I was just so into weightlifting, wanting to get big and, all that stuff. And one day I saw him at the basketball court, and this guy just came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Dan, you touch the rim?" So he just kind of went up, touched the rim. Kind of looked up, 10-foot rim. I'm like, I don't know, let me try. And then I just squatted up and just went and grabbed it. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't know I could do that because I never
Yeah,
touched my vertical. And so my oldest brother was there, and he just like, yeah, knucklehead, I told you, get into volleyball, man. You're a natural.
yeah.
And so, I just kind of I got started getting into volleyball because of
What
that.
kind of weightlifting did you do? You do like snatches and cleans and all that shit, or what?
No, it was just mainly benching, man, because I wanted
Yeah,
to get big. You know what I mean? It's like I want to get
yeah.
big. I did a lot of core. Core
Hmm.
was my hardest training, I guess, body feature. I did a lot of core. A lot of people have seen me during my young youth age, my core, my abs is like I tell people that there's a difference between a performance body and a showing off body, right? You want to get
Yeah,
ripped, you want to look beautiful at the beach, you get ripped. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, that's pretty and everything, but when you compare a performance body, you see the six pack, you see the rip and everything, but then it's built a little different.
hmm,
So I was leaning more towards that, being an athlete and stuff like that. And so I did a lot of, like I said, a lot of benching, a lot of arms, like triceps, because I realized I worked more on my triceps than I ever did my biceps, because triceps was the most used muscle in my arm. I
Yeah.
did more pushing, more extending than pulling. Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, then I wanted to be strong, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of came along and helped me along when volleyball came and I was hitting, you know, because I realized, oh, I was hitting a lot harder than the people
Yeah.
my height or my size. You know, a lot of people was like, dang, for such a small guy like you hit pretty hard. And it all came into play, you know, like I said, when that came along. So it was kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
So I did more arms and it was just benching. Legs, it was here and there, but mainly just upper body training.
How you jump so high, then? Man, don't hide that secret.
Man, you know, I tell people, I don't know if it's genetics or, you know, maybe part of it is because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it, you know, it's through hard work, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a short guy. I'm five
Mm-hmm.
four, almost 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I tell people, man, the
That's
amount of
average, bro.
crunches, yeah, the amount of
Mm-hmm.
crunches that I do a night, I do up to 2,500 crunches a night.
Wow.
That's not even. That's when I'm training. Like when I'm
Mm-hmm.
focused, 2,500. That's like at least 25 to 3,000. And
Mm-hmm.
like I tell people, they're like, "Is that even possible?" I said, "Look, I can tell you this: the minute you pass 200, the pain disappears. It completely just
Mm-hmm.
disappears, guys. You don't feel it, but the minute you stop,
Mm-hmm.
boy, that pain rushes back like that, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Hold on. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, you know, I do extensive workout. You know, I tell people it's kind of like burpees, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't do push-ups. I just do launch, like I launch myself up. And then like if you do it so much, like I tell people, I say you want to be the best. And I've literally taken this quote from Arnold, what he said, you know, when he was training to be the best. I said, you know, he said, you want to be the best? Don't count reps. Do it until your body can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know
Dang.
you're getting that kind of performance. So I literally took that to heart and like, okay, if I want to be the best, I have to follow and listen to the best, you know? And so like, you know, like I said, I call them, I just call them like jumps or whatever, or springs or whatever you want to call them. And or ceilings, because for me, I can't hit the ceiling, you know, because at that time I had a 10-foot ceiling. So I literally just went all the way down and start shooting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I mean, if for all you youngsters that are watching,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are not tall enough to hit your head on the ceiling, if you do this enough, within a month of doing this, you literally feel yourself stop for like almost a second. Like you'll peak, like when you first start doing it, you'll go up and come back down. It's like whatever, right? And after a while, when you start, you know, you start developing that strength, you go up and you literally stop like that, and then you'll
Mm-hmm.
come back down. You'll slow down, like the momentum holds you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you know, that helped me a lot during my prime, because I literally have time to see the blockers, as short as I am, you know, see the
Mhm.
blockers and get around them and stuff like that. So, you know, things like that, it all helps the physique, you know, things like that. The extensive training does really help, and people don't believe it, but it helps.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage it to a lot of the
Take
youngsters.
take us through a session.
Training, I do a lot of crunches. You know, so I wanted my swing to be strong. So mainly what I do is I'll do crunch. I'll, like I said, I'll max myself out. I call myself maxing. I don't ever count numbers. I've been
Mm-hmm.
literally will max myself out. So I'll do like crunch. I'll do a straight crunch, and then I'll go into what I call like a side swing. So I'll put my hand up to my ears and just touch my knees, and I'm going up to like a 45-degree angle to
Okay.
where my body's at that, and I'm constantly just touching my
Oh,
knees.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I want my swing at whatever angle that I'm turning to be strong. So like even if I'm going line or angle, I can get that core to just turn and maneuver the way I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I will do like I literally have 3 workout per night. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll if I'm doing crunches, I'll do crunches. I'll do that, and I'll come back and do like planks, and I'll hold planks, you know, or I'll do that. my side swings, and I'll come and do what I call my ceiling, and just continuously jump. And then the next night I'll do like push-ups. I'll do my straight push-ups. I do my incline push-ups and stuff like that. So there's a lot of workout that I do. I don't do a lot of running. I do a lot of stairs.
Okay.
Stairs. Where I live here in Sacs, we have a small city college called Sac State. They have an open stadium. So if you guys ever been here in Sacramento South, they have an open stadium. Every morning I get my ass up, have my breakfast, and I go run that.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't realize that running that stadium, man, if you do it for a month, you come back and play, you can play an entire J4 tournament, and you can go out and play another tournament.
It's funny. It's funny because you say that, because even Alan from Fresno, from Titans, he's like, and I asked him the same question. He's like, yeah, so we'll wake up and we'll do like 5 stadiums, meaning like, stairs 5 times or whatever. And I'm trying to get some of these young kids to come do stairs with me, and they're kind of reluctant to do it because they don't see the benefits of it. So you're kind of, helping my case out here,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I tell them every time, I was like, 7 in the morning, let's go do stairs. No one ever shows up.
It's like some of the conversation I've had with you, alongside the courts, these kids nowadays, and a lot of the youngsters nowadays, they rely so much on, one, their youth, and secondly, their height.
Yeah.
They never, because we're on an average of 8 foot net, 7'11", which is 8, right? And with their youth and height, they don't need it. But what they don't see is that, like I don't mean to sound arrogant or anything, but I talk to a lot of these youngsters, and I say, look, man, I'm 40 years old, and I can still sit here and compete with you youngsters at 18, 21, 25. Think about that for a minute. Now imagine if you guys train at your height, your youth, you train as hard as I do, you might even make it to pro, semi-pro.
Yeah.
Man, I my only downfall was the fact that I'm so short.
Yeah.
Shit, if I get into a pro court, they'll be like, nah, you a DS, man, go libero.
Yeah.
I don't care how good of a hitter I am. I'm not gonna make it like that. But you guys have the potential, man, to make it, to somewhere, to stardom. Outside of just the Hmong, the Hmong culture, the Hmong community, outside of our eyes, man.
Because for them, it's good enough just to be able to play at the park,
Right.
What I mean? And for me, I'm trying to push them beyond that. You know what I mean? Why don't you go compete USAV? We're looking like that. Like, I'm looking like that for you. But for them, it's like, oh, if I can compete at the park, then why do I need stairs? You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, all right, okay, I'm not gonna.
Well, I think.
Go ahead, Will. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think along the way, I think eventually you start competing against other people, and then eventually you just start competing against yourself. So he's like, man, what can I do to? What can I do better? Because eventually, yes, you get motivated to get better than the other person, but after a while, you're just like, after you get to a certain point, it's just like you against yourself.
Yeah.
And
that's what separates our generation from this young generation. During our time, we wanted to be the best. We wanted to step on the court and put fear in a rookie team's face, like, oh dang, I don't want to play this team. We wanted to be that player. Like, where you walk on the court, they're like, oh man, I don't want to play this guy, or if this guy was hitting, I didn't want to dig. It was we wanted to be that guy. But a lot of these players, like these young players nowadays, they don't think like that. They just want to get on the court and just, they just want to hear the crowd roar. That's it. And they don't know the feeling of, man, can you imagine if you're at that level and you put a ball down and, not only is the crowd roaring, but wherever you go, people's like, damn, yeah, man, I know that guy. That guy is what put fear in a lot of our faces. They don't have that.
Yeah, so, it's like I was telling one of my friends the other day, and I told him, I was like, man, I've been through 3 semifinals in July 4th, and that shit was fucking hard, man. That shit was hard, bro. And I was like, none of y'all out here ain't never gonna make it, because y'all just coming out here drinking and playing. Dude, 3 J4 semifinals. That's it. Semifinals. That's it. Not even, top 3 or whatever. And that shit was hard, bro. Like, y'all ain't even putting half the amount that I put. Like y'all don't even expect to win, or even make second day,
What's sad is, like, I've seen more of these young athletes at their youth and height cramping more than my time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys believe that?
Yeah, because you licking salt. Remember you told me that?
Yeah. I have to pack salt all the time.
This mug literally came up to me like, right here, lick the salt. I was like,
dude,
Danny,
what does that do?
No, because
what does that do?
So I when I play every tournament I go to, I have potassium. They have potassium and I literally carry a bottle of salt, table salt. Yeah. Because what salt does is what lubricates your muscle fibers, from catching and twisting and cramping, right? Okay. So you can have water, but the minute you don't have salt in your system, you'll cramp. Okay. So for me, because I was short, and I remember, man, if you guys hear this, MVP was the team that always made me cramp, because they'll wait until we walk into the finals with them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the net's kind of low." Bam, net's like, I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna cramp," So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my dose of salt. So that was what always saved me, was the salt. So I'll pour like a small heapful or whatever in my hand. I'll just put it under my tongue, because when you put salt under your tongue, that's like where all your vessels are. And it's the most thinnest skin or whatever you have. So it absorbs that salt right away. So I'll put it under my tongue for about, I'll say 10 minutes, and I'll go down with a Gatorade or something like that. So I have that salt. So salt, man. If you guys don't believe me, everybody that I've given salt to has come back to me and said, "Man, that saved me," right?
Man, yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Yeah,
you remember Yoko, right?
I know. No, it's true. It's true, because I came back to my wife. I was like, man, oh no, maybe I should do it, and I did do it. I did a little, but.
So how much salt do you put in
because you lose all that salt when you're sweating. You know what I mean?
You don't have to put. I mean, like, just enough. Like, for me, I would say typically what I would do is I would say maybe a quarter of a teaspoon.
Just like,
I mean,
just like a pinch, one pinch in the hand.
No, a little bit more. You'll need enough. You need enough to regenerate all that salt. Because salt is so rich, Right. It's so rich. So I mean, like, I would say, like, maybe a water bottle. If you fill that up and just pour it on the bottom of your tongue and just hold it. Yeah. So I learned that from one of my mentors when I started playing. He plays for AA in open division. And I went out to play a tournament in Sac State, and I came across him just doing some chatting, and he was just grabbing some salt, putting under his tongue. What the hell are you doing, man? He's like, "Man, I'm about to cramp." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm about to cramp." I was like, "What does the salt do?" So he was kind of he was explaining to me what it does, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense." And so I tried it on my own. I'm like, "Okay, let me try it," because I mean, I'm short, and these guys are always picking on me. So let me try, see if it works. So we went to Fresno one time and played a tournament, and I'm like, I had to cook out and let my guy know. I was like, "Hey, go grab me some salt. Give me some salt. They're making food over there, And one of my guys ran over there, grabbed some salt, and I'm like, "Oh shit, it does work, man. It really does work." So ever since then, every tournament I go to, I carry I go out by like a 99-cent salt shaker. It's like I carry it everywhere. So. Well, you youngsters out there that keep cramping, man, I tell you guys. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
So, hey, does it work like right away, instantly?
I would say if you take it and you massage your muscle, drink some water, and let it just kind of go, I would say about anywhere from 15 minutes to 20 minutes, man, you're back on the court.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, like for me, that's what kept me playing. You know, I mean, sometimes I rub some Bengay on my whatever it is, my quads or my calves, whichever is cramping. I rub some Bengay in there, massage it a little bit, and just the salt or potassium, and then just chug down a whole bunch of water, make sure I'm hydrated. I'm back on the court. So yeah, so 15, 20 minutes, man, it's pretty good.
Who would have thought? Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah.
None of these youngsters know that.
Yeah, Peng remembers that, right?
I
Peng?
remember that stuck with me like all these years. You know what I mean?
Well, he just sold you a bunch of salt here. You want some? Or what?
This nigga, this dude, he just handed his hand like this, like, dude, take them out. Trust me. I was like, I don't know, I don't know. And then I think I took some afterwards. I didn't take a lot, but I took some afterwards.
Wow.
Yoko did it.
Yeah, I helped Yoko.
So growing up, who was that player, man? Who was that badass player?
Like I said, I was just growing up. KB was the guy. Like I said, he was the guy that I looked up to, man. It was him. Like he's short. Not only was he able to just hit, but that pass, play defense, the whole 9 yards. So I was like, man, that guy can do everything at his height, So this guy was, pretty hardcore. So that was pretty much stuck to me, And then after when, like I didn't see him much. I saw him towards the end of his prime before he started converting to Qatar.
Yeah.
And then the next guy that I saw that I was like, man, this guy is just a beast, was Sean from Stockton Machine.
Oh, okay.
Man, that guy was a beast. I see him, man, single-handedly just beat other team like nothing. I'm like, holy shit, who the hell is this guy, man? So yeah, he was one of those badass players that I literally was just like, whoa, this guy, I want to be like him. I want to get on the court and put fear in everybody's face, like when this guy stepped on the court, So that was kind of who I really kind of looked up to, with those two guys, growing up. Yeah.
There was a lot of teams, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Like all those legendary teams over there? Like we never,
Stockton,
we never got
that time,
exposed to
there was a lot of teams, but we didn't get to see a lot because we were younger. And we didn't get to go out to enjoy much, but like when I do see, the name that really stuck to my head was one superpower because they're local here. Stock Machine, because they travel a bit, and like I said, they had a team, a player that I idolized, so I kind of looked up to, so that kind of ooh, Machine's playing. Fresno legend, one of Cal's old team.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, they had a few guys on there, man, that one of the guys on there, he's related to me. He's a her. I can't, his name just slipped my mind, but man, that guy hit so hard. Like I wanted to be like him, because when he hit, that guy literally folds. Like when he hit, his back
Like
literally folds forward, like literally.
Yeah.
And he'll bounce that ball so high. I'm just like,
that's a
how
lot
is
of
that
torque.
guy able to do? Yeah, how the hell he's able to do all that? And so those were the three guys that really, really just kind of like, where I kind of just looked up and said, I want to be like that. If I get into the sport, that's me. I'm gonna combine these kind of mentality and build me. Those guys were kind of like what really built who I am, or who I was.
Those teams did you ever catch them playing together, or like playing against each other, or?
No. I saw Machine played Superpower one year. I think this is late 80s. Kind of, I would say about maybe 87. And this is when Machine just rised up and Machine beat Superpower that year. Like I said, shown single-handedly, man, just doing crazy, So I was like, wow, two really good teams. But again, like Superpower is kind of on the brink of everybody's, out of their prime and kind of slowly drifting away, So it wasn't, as intense, but that was one of the games that I was like, okay, who do I root for? Because this guy, this team's got my idol, this team's got my idol, who do I root for? But I mean, like I said, I mean, really never saw much of them playing. Like I said, Legend, I didn't see him play much because I think they got together 1 year, one solid year, and got really good. They came up to J4, won it, and then just retired at their prime. Like just like they won it and just like, nah, we just retired and just retired like that.
Wow.
So yeah, like they didn't. So when Cal moved up there, after they retired, Cal moved up to Minnesota. So like I said, that team like literally retired at their prime. It wasn't it got boring. I mean, shit, they won it, and I was talking to, like I said, one of the guys, and he just said, it wasn't much for us to do. There wasn't much more competition, because the minute we went up there and won, we realized that that was it, So we just retired. I'm just like, damn, y'all retired at such a young age. We wanted to see more of your actions, what you were really about. But yeah, they all just retired like that.
Well, they never gave you a chance for you younger guys to come up and try to compete against them.
Yeah. So it's disappointing, it's disappointing. It's like, damn, we never got to. But like I said, it was at the same time, it was a memory that kind of just stuck. Like, yeah, these guys did it. They had a dream, and goals, and they chased after it, got it, and they just quit. Just done.
Yeah.
So,
I hope someone posts some of those videos one day. Those old schools.
I think Huey got one of the videos with Legends, and yeah, they were pretty. Did you watch them play? It's like you can just cut and paste like time span. You know what I mean? They play exactly the way like they play now, like people, like kids play now. You know what I mean?
They were like ahead of their time.
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
Yeah, they had great setter, great lefty. Obviously Cal was sitting outside. And, yeah, everybody could dude, looking up a shot, dude. Do you know them? Are they tall, dude?
They're a little bit taller than me. Their setter was about maybe my height. They're a lot of their hitters are probably my height or maybe a little bit taller. I mean, give or take. Like I'm 5'4", so I would say 5'5", 5'6". On the average. But man, those guys were good. Those guys were good.
I know.
Yeah.
Jeez. Can you you remember back like in your first home volleyball tournament? Can you describe that moment?
Man,
How old were you? And who were you playing with?
There were some growing pains right there, huh?
Yeah.
You don't want to relive it, huh?
My very first volleyball tournament, man. I didn't have a team. I was just kind of like a freelance player. I just kind of like free agent. People was picking me up here and there. I just started volleyball. I was like 16, and out of the blue, a lot of my older, like I was telling you, my oldest brother played volleyball. So a lot of his buddies was just like in his generation was just like, hey, we need to play. You're pretty good. I'm like, sure. They didn't tell me it was at a volleyball tournament. I thought we play at the park, right? Yeah, wake up tomorrow morning, we'll play. I'm like, all right. I show up, these guys, it was a church tournament, right? My first church tournament. And we go there, and man, everybody's putting the ball down left and right. And I was like, man, you guys didn't give me a chance to, calm my nerves, guys. Like, what the hell? So,
but how old were you during this time?
I was about 16.
How old were you? Okay.
I was about 16.
Okay.
So I didn't think I was gonna play well, because I was, I was a bit shy. It's like, man, what if I suck and people laugh at me and stuff like that, So all of that kind of come into mind, and just like, but my buddy, like I said, my brother's friend was just like, just play, man. Who cares, I mean, you get hit, so just go, just do what you do at the park all the time. Just do it, So we started playing, and then as soon as I was able to realize that I was able to hit like everybody else, I got excited. I was like, oh, I can actually hit, so it was just like no more, because when you play at the park, you play the same guys, their moves, who's aggressive, who's not. So I was like, but then going there, you're like, okay, that guy is huge, he's tall, I don't know what he's capable of, and so the minute you realize, okay, I could dig this guy, or I could block him, or I could whatever, you're just like, okay, whatever, it's game on. But my first half of that tournament, I mean, I was quite a bit shaken up. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit shaken up. My very first tournament, it was a church tournament, um, right here in the Elk Grove area, and they played in their, I think it was like they had I think that was like their gym had a basketball court in there and whatnot, you know. So played in their gym, and it was fun. It was a fun tournament. I went out there and saw a lot of my my teammate live. That's
Mhm.
I was cousins with a few of them. A few of them are my nephews, and so they had already had that team, going back then, just starting it off and stuff like that. And they're playing. So we went out there. I saw those guys. We just kind of chit chatting, and you know, they're kind of like, well, yeah, it's our first tournament. I'm like, yeah, it's my first tournament. So it's really just all of our first tournaments, and going out there. And there was this guy out there. He's older than us, and this guy was tall. Man, this guy was putting fear in everybody's face, like, because he was just like, it was just like a bully, you beating everybody's ass, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I don't want to play against this guy, but
Is he Hmong?
I mean, yeah, he's Hmong.
Okay.
But I mean, we never got a chance to play him. I mean, they played and they kind of went on their own.
Who was that? You don't remember the name?
Yeah, I know this guy. His name is Vang. His name is Vang. He lives here in Sacramento. He's tall. He's a tall guy.
Okay.
He's a Yang. But this guy, he played with Superpower. This is right before Benny and Chris grew up. So Zoe wanted to put together a Superpower team, and this is when Fong, you guys remember Fong from Airborne, right?
Okay. Yep.
When Fong moved back here to Sacramento, they kind of played. They kind of put together a team under Superpower, and they played again. But they really didn't go nowhere. Like I said, this guy, once you develop the skill, this guy's like, we always joke. Everybody jokes about him. Like, when you come and warm up, let this guy come show. I mean, let him come and just warm up. He would put fear in a lot of people. Because this guy, he's tall, he could jump high, and he hits straight down. It's like right up the 5-foot line. But when it's crucial, he can't play under pressure. That's his thing. He cannot play under pressure.
Okay.
So a lot of guys didn't respect him because he couldn't play under pressure. So but yeah, this guy was my first time playing him. I would say that was his best performance tournament that I've ever seen. Man, this guy was crazy. He was putting fear in a lot of us youngsters. He was literally scaring a lot of us for sure. So yeah, that was a memory to remember for sure.
So when did you join Live, and how did that all kind of happen?
I joined Live in right in the beginning of '99.
Okay.
Well, actually, about the end of '98. End of '98 into '99. My nephew is in there, and one of my really good friends from the north side was also playing with Live. And at that time, the name Live was spelled LIVE. So we went in there, and I mean, they were playing, and they're also going to tournaments, playing, like small tournaments and stuff like that. And two of my setters. And back then, one of my setters, the min guy that hyperextended his knee, he was kind of like playing as a free agent, and he'll play with them here and there, but not really, because they all played at a high school. And where I was, we didn't have a high school team because we didn't have the funds. I went to a ghetto ass school, so we didn't have the funds to get a coach to get us to play. So the year I went into my high school, that was the year that they cut off. I was like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
But that was that, and they played Sac High, and it was my nephews and my DS, my setter, which is Vang. He came here Sac from Minnesota. He was actually one of the guys that started MDY.
Okay.
So Yeah, so his name is
Hold
also
on.
Danny too.
Let's name drop these guys real quick. You keep saying your nephews, but we need to name drop them, and then your setter and your
Give us
DS.
some credit.
Yeah, yeah. My see, we when we came up to Minnesota, we realized that everybody played a 5-1 format. We were the
Mhm.
only team that played a 6-2 format. We had 2
Mhm.
setters. So my setter that set for me was Sarn. That's the main guy that hyperextended his knee.
Mhm.
Sarn Lee, he was also a hitter, backside hitter, and then Vong Yang, he goes by Danny. A lot of people probably know him from 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 Minnesota as Danny. He was our other setter, and he was our veteran player because he was much older than us. So he was the guy who put us together, and then I have my 2 middles, which is Yilang, Vang, he's my nephew, and then Jack was also my other middle, which is he's my DS, and that guy, man, I would say as far as DS or defensive specialist,
Mhm.
I have never seen anybody beyond this guy.
Mhm.
But he came up with us in '99, and in '05 he pulled out last minute. Last minute he decided not to come. If he
Okay.
would have came and we would have had 6, I think we would have had a really, really good run to
Mhm.
seeing Raven that year.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But because of him, we didn't have 6. And like I said, we pulled KBN. He was drunk just to not to get qualified, and
Mhm.
I don't.
our setter,
I don't think Raven wanted to see you guys.
it would have been
Seriously.
fun because
Yeah.
we're all buddies and we know how each
Yeah.
other play. So I think it
Yeah.
would have
That's
been
the
really
thing.
fun.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been really, really fun, and we had Chicago that year, first
Mhm.
game. It was like nothing. We went to second game, and then third game we had them on game point, but because we didn't have that 6th player, we weren't able to execute, and it was
Yeah.
very, very disappointing, to have a loss like that. But and it is what it is. But like I said, so Jack Vang, Yilang Vang, there, my 2 middle guys, and then you had me and Fong Lore, which is the heavier set guy. Man, I mean, I tell people Fong is one of the guys, and he's my buddy from the North Sac area. And I was saying, people don't give him enough credit because he's fat. He's bigger. He's a bigger guy, and he's tall, a little bit taller than me. But this guy, he was all OT, and he
Mhm.
doesn't put the ball straight down. I mean, he was in all power and straight down like me, but he was like OT and putting in that corner, putting in this corner, and he was making side outs and points. And a lot of people are like didn't give him enough credit. They're like, nah, man, just Danny, just blocking. But I'm like, I'm just a diversion, man. These are the
Mhm.
guys that you
Yeah.
guys need to really block and look out for, because
Mhm.
and I give an example, like Jack doesn't hit very hard. He's tall, but he doesn't hit very hard. He's good at blocking, and he's a great defensive guy. But like everything we gave to Jack, like we because during the time that we're playing, we ran a lot of tandems, a lot of fakes, a lot of
Mhm.
cross, and I'll come in strong, and they're like, yeah, they're gonna give it to Danny, and it's like they'll feed it to Jack, and Jack don't have to hit hard. He's just
Mhm.
putting it away. He's racking up points. Yeah, I don't care. He's racking up points. And so like when it's crucial, and they're like, okay, give it to Danny. That time comes, but the guys that are really racking up points is not me. It's my other
Mhm.
guys. I'm coming in strong all the time. So people are like always block this guy, watch this guy, but it's always my other guy. So I have to give him a lot of credit, for taking us this far. But those are pretty much my guys. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
my 2 middles, Yilang, Jack, me, and Fong are outside, and Vong and Sarn are are right and center. So
Yeah.
yep, those are pretty much my solid guys.
Talk about those years, man. Like when you guys were playing as live, and when you finally joined them. I mean, what team was the top team around Cali?
When I was recruited to play with Live, I came in one year. It was right at the end of '98.
Mhm.
And Vong talked to Fong, which is my good buddy, and like he talked to Elaine because Elaine was also my nephew. It's like, hey man, why don't you guys talk to him? He's just a free agent. He's jumping around, going from team to
Mhm.
team. He's a great player, but he doesn't have a team.
Mhm.
He's not getting
Mhm.
victories anywhere. So they pulled me aside and say, hey man, you know, what do you think about the opportunity to come play with us, you know, as a solid team? And so I said, yeah, I would love that, you know. You guys just need me for a tournament, or are you guys talking about, you know, are we gonna stick as live?
Mm-hmm.
They said, man, we, you know, we would like to, you know, you to stick. So yeah, I ended up playing with them that year. The year I played with them, the top team during that time was Raven,
Mm-hmm.
uh, NGE, which is A-Fool's original team, Zero Gravity, and MVP.
Wow, that's good
Those
competition.
those were yeah, those are like all of
Mm-hmm.
the top California teams that we played. You know, Stockton Machine had just exceeded
Mm-hmm.
their prime, and they're kind of on the brink of
Mm-hmm.
breaking up. So Sean and Steve were still kind of playing, but it wasn't like we weren't
Right.
hardcore like going on. You know, um, they're the older generation. They're slowing down. Superpower was slowing down. They try to recruit and play, but the solid team that we always met in the finals or semifinals were those teams that I mentioned. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know those are pretty much the top team. Raven, if we went to Fresno, it was either MVP, Zero Gravity, or Raven. That we Sacramento, we were the only team during that time that was representing Sacramento. And then Stockton, again, Machine was still kind of playing. Shocker, back then they were playing, but they're again when we started playing competitively, I remember them as a bunch of older men. You know, they weren't like us and you know youthful and like yeah, we can bring that game back and forth. They were much older. I mean, the team Shocker was still around, but again, you know, it wasn't like that. So it was NGE, Raven, OG or Zero Gravity, and it was just MVP and us. We were like pretty much the team that was competitive then.
Give us some stories, man. Give us some stories against each of those teams. Come on.
Man, it's you know,
I don't know if you
it's a
saw
love and
the
hate.
I don't know
It's
if you
a
saw the AFU interview, but he talked a lot of smack about you, man. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
yeah, no, I saw. You know, it's and he's a great guy. April was a
Yeah.
great guy. You know, I can tell a short story about him. In '98, before I played with my team, I remember my team live. This is before I played with them. Played against April's team, NGE, and man, you know, you know, one of the guys, one of my other nephew that was playing with my team on and off, went up and he hit a ball like he put a ball straight down in front of Afu. Afu just kind of put on a smirk and just looked at his setter and said, "Hey Stu," like that. That's all he said. "Hey Stu," like that. And so I'm sitting there right on the sideline, you know, and Afu, man, if you guys haven't seen him play at his prime, man, this guy, if you blink, you miss it. I tell you guys that much. This guy hits so hard, like you don't see the ball. The only time you see the ball is when it ricochets, like poof. That's how hard this guy hit, right?
So when he jumps and he hits it, does the ball land before he drops his descent?
Yeah, literally. Seriously,
Yeah.
he hits
Yeah.
that hard. That
Yeah.
guy hits like crazy hard. You know.
Yeah.
So he just looked at his setter and said, "Sue, if you're listening, I know you remember this moment, right? This is like Gibson Ranch." He just said, "Sue," and you know, Sue's like, "Okay." So April was the kind of when he back then when he was young, he was really skinny, and this guy he never gives you a full posture, so you see his full height. You know, he's always kind of just like this, you know.
Yeah.
And when he jumped, he was so quick that all he did was like that, and he was already in the air, and he has so much air time. This guy could literally just sit up there and just take a picture of you and come back down. That's how much air time this guy had, you know.
Yeah.
And he went up there and he was already like open in form, and all Sue had to do was just give him that one right in front of him. And he bounced it right in front of my nephew. My nephew was so shaken up, he couldn't play. I sat there, I laughed. I was like, oh my God. I've never seen anybody did that to him before. And it was just, if we bounced it in front of him so hard, he was literally just shaking up. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. I want to compete against this guy, you know?
Yeah.
And so during April's prime, man, that guy is a beast. So I mean, that's one of the and seeing him play, like I said, during that time, you know, it was always like I wanted to play him. You know, and again, that's one of the things that kind of separates our generation from this younger generation.
Right.
You know, during our generation, whoever was a good team, we wanted to play them. We didn't want to ignore them. We're like, we want to play them. You know, that's the team that we want to see. That's the team that we want to be. You know, we played for that pride. You know, we in that ego, we wanted that. You know, so
if you guys were this generation, you guys would have joined together.
yeah, that would have been fun. I think it would have been fun. I played with Afu. Man, I have a story to tell you guys with me and Afu. We played this one church tournament. It was a crazy tournament, man. Maybe we went off to winning it. It was that crazy. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, about his story. You know, those are badass teams, you know, like playing Afu and them. Zero Gravity, you know, and MVP. MVP and Zero Gravity, they didn't have a deadly hitter like Afu, you know, or like Lon from Raven. Like Lon, man, at his prime, I've seen him cut through 3 blocks, like literally in front of 3 guys, and I'm just like, did he just cut through 3 guys? Like, did he just cut through 3 guys? And that guy is like, I mean, I don't know. I think he's like, you know, descended from aliens or something.
He's aliens, yeah. I was gonna say.
I don't know how he does it.
He's like a unicorn.
You might have muted yourself.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, I gotta, you know, I was picking his brain one day, you know, and he was telling me, he said, you know, Danny, let me tell you this. If you're a good player, all you got to do is know the line and the dimensions of the court and just put it in. I thought about that for a minute. I go, you know what? You're right. You go, yeah. All you have to do is know the dimension of your court and just put it in. It's not hard. You know, and it's as difficult as it sounds, that's true. You know, I mean, all you gotta do is know your court and put it in the court. That's all you gotta do. He's like, I don't care how you cut, I don't care how you put it. You can cut a badass ball, but if you're cutting it out, it don't count for shit. You know, so you know your dimensions and put the ball in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that in consideration. And it was very, very, very wise words, you know. But yeah, I mean, like MVP, Zero Gravity, they have a lot of great players. You know, like Kevin, Lefty Kevin, he was a great player. You know, and he didn't hit very hard. You know, he didn't hit very hard, but he knew how to put it away. You know, the block was there. He knows how to block, and I mean, he know how to hit. You know, and stuff like that. They have a lot of hitters, like A from you know, Zero Gravity. You know, he moved up to Wisconsin and came back.
He's a freaking badass, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think not a lot of people give him enough credit. I think he's one of the underrated players. Like but the thing with him is that, man, you can't block this guy. You know, he'll go off your hands, he'll do something, but he make it count. You know, and he's not one of those guys who will bounce it to where you're like, damn, like Afu would bounce the ball, but this guy knows how to rack up points. You know, and so I think that, you know, I mean, and you know, like I said, he's on the list of one of the underrated players.
Not to me. He's not underrated to me. He's like one of the baddest dude that I ever seen play, man.
I think not too much people talk about him. That's my point. You know, not too many people talk about him or give him enough credit. Like you say, oh, yeah, he's all right, but you know, I mean, this guy racks up a lot of points. He's a great player. You know, one of those guys that I think that people don't give him enough credit for. But yeah, I mean, those are pretty much like the teams that I would say during that time we had. You know, it's like we gave a lot of love off the court, a lot of respect, seeing each other. Just, hey, man, how you guys doing? You know, you guys been playing much? You guys go to this tournament? How was it? Blah blah blah. But and when we step on the court, it was kind of like it was a game on, you know, type thing. So yeah, it was fun. My entire career during my prime, I played with Afu only one time. We played the church tournament, and in Richmond. It was a church tournament. We went there with at first it was 5 of us, and then we ended up with 4. It was just me, Afu, my setter Sarn. It was a men tournament, so my setter was the guy who invited me. They're like, hey, let's go. Afu's playing with us, and we ended up going out there, and then we ended up playing the entire. I mean, we played all the way to 2 o'clock in the morning. In the
Damn.
Wow.
and man, we played the first time I seen Afu cramp. First time I've seen Afu cramp. He's like, I'm cramping, guys. I'm cramping. So I mean, I was like, Salt. There you go, Salt. Because it was this. I was like, Salt and Ben Gay. So we ended up using a lot of Ben Gay. He came back, and we ended up dropping to 3 guys. It was me, Afu, and Sarn, my setter. So, and then we ended up, winning that tournament, taking first place. And one of the main guys came up to us and say, man, the 3 of you guys should just call yourself outlaws, because man, you guys are like outlaw players. You guys just putting it down, and everybody's afraid of you guys.
I'll take those 3. I'll take those 3 any day, man. God damn.
It was a fun tournament. It was a fun tournament. That was the only time I got to play with Afu. His entire career, mine. That was the only time we really got to play. So,
Yeah.
it's been fun. But those are pretty much my worst stories with these guys. We battled off, like a lot of tournaments. SAC, SAC and SAC, Fresno, Merced, Stockton. And these are pretty much the main guys that we keep seeing, and there was a lot of shit talking, like it's part of the game, get into the other person's head, but it's all love after that. And it was a lot of fond memories, man. Like I said, it's never a disappointment. I see a lot of these guys, and we give each other hugs and respect, and just know who they are. These are some badass players. So because during that time we were kind of on a rise, because we had hit a point where our youth during that time was Olaya, you know what I'm talking about? Lucia during that time was peak during the gangsters, era.
Right.
So everybody wanted to be a gangster, I want to be a thug, I want to be whatever. So we have very few people that was actually into sports. That's why we lacked so much teams during that time. Fresno had a few teams, and even Raven couldn't even come to Stockton to play. They were only in Fresno because they came into Stockton one year, and I think it was their grandparents. One of their grandparents passed away, and because they're Laos, they have to shave their head, and they came into Stockton and they got jumped.
And they ship off, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
jumped. Yeah, and we didn't know it was them. We thought that but it was when they went to the restroom, and then ever since after that, up north past Merced, so
Okay.
the only time we saw them was when we traveled down to Fresno and played these guys.
Shoot.
So it wasn't much of seeing them in SAC and Stockton and Merced. We didn't see them there at all. All we saw was when we moved down to Fresno. That was
that kind of explains a lot.
Yeah. So during that time, there wasn't a lot of teams that really represented the sport because of that time of era. Everybody so it was so much drama, so much crap going on, to where we didn't have enough people to play, and so it was tough. It was tough to maintain a solid team that wanted to play, and still be competitive, So it was tough during that time.
How'd you guys fare against those guys? Like, was it 50-50 or was it, they were kind of?
It was anybody's game, man. It was anybody's game. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, whoever was on a good day, it was their game, because it's like we would always see MVP and Zero Gravity with and G was these three teams were pretty much, the 3 teams that was traveling with us. So it was either first, second, third you, or first, second, third me. It was always like that. And these 4 teams were always the ones that we're always winning. So it's either these 14 was constantly, and then we went to Fresno. Then you added Raven with it, which was another team. Which there's 5 teams, So again, it was whoever's team. But with all honesty, like we never, like we taken Raven to like 3 games, but we have never beaten Raven. We've
Yeah.
taken them to 3 games and stuff like that, and during their prime, I've seen a lot play during their prime, and like I said, we all played, but a lot of teams Pet would get mad if they, 'cause especially I think it's because it's a territory thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and like Raven, Zero Gravity, and MVP, they're all in Fresno. So Pet would never let those 2 other teams go through games with them. He'd be like, no, hell no, there's no third game, and no third game. Like you'll hear Pet like get mad and say things like that. And I think it's because it's territory. Like we're all from
Yeah.
Fresno. We beat this guy all the time. Don't do this.
Right.
So I think I don't know if it is, but my assumption, I think it is. So like it's always to where he and like we'll take Pet to them into 3 games and stuff like that. So it's always fun. Like I said, it's either them or us. If we don't get first, then it's them. It's constantly like back and forth. I can count like we had more running with MVP than we do Zero Gravity though. Like first and second with team. We do have some with MVP, but we do have more runs with MVP. You know, so they're the other team that was kind of like with us. But again, it was just literally those through. And NGE, if they came, it was them and us. And stuff like that. So it was again, it was one of those things because we were pretty much the 4 or 5 team that was roaming around representing.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of it is. And we did more gambling, traveling and playing than we did in tournaments.
Yeah.
We're all like, hey man, we come down, play, $30 a game. Let's do it. So we'll travel down or they come up here, so
I think
we did
that's
more
what.
of that.
Yeah, I think that's what Afu was. He told a couple of stories too when you guys would just play.
Hey, easy. That was off ear. Easy. Don't go there. Thin line.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, we did more gambling. I mean, we did more
Yeah.
just playing for money than we did tournaments because the tournaments back then was so cheesy. Like the prizes were like, I mean, 150, 200. So we're like, shoot, we'll just play for money, $30 a game. Let me see, we'll come there, play a whole day's worth. If we win, that's like $600. We'd rather take that over the $300.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we did a lot more traveling than that.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things.
Were you there when Airborne came up? Because I know I talked with like Koo and all those guys. They said that like kind of Fresno, I mean in Fresno or in Cali or in Fresno, basically that Raven never lost, but they only lost to Airborne when Airborne came up. Well, Airborne said I think Rob said they came up to Sacramento first, I think. Then they got their asses handed to them, and then they went to Fresno, and they kind of got it together or something like that. Were you there at all, or do you remember
I didn't go
them?
to that year. I didn't go. I think I had an injury that year.
Yeah.
I had an injury that year. I didn't go to any of the New Year's, and then I heard that the Airborne came down. I was like, oh damn, I missed it. So I didn't get to see it at all. I think that was like 96, 97.
Yeah,
I think.
kuchinya ka, yeah.
That was when they came. It was around that time.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see it at all. So it was disappointing but everybody was raving about it. Like Airborne, man, these guys are just fine, man, jumping here and there, and they're all over the place,
Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to see them play at all because that year I had sustained an injury. I didn't get to see them play at all. Disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about your first J4 experience. What year was that?
My first J4 experience was 99.
Okay.
Came up in '99 with my team. We didn't come with this. We came. Well, actually, our whole team came. That was our first year in '99 when we came up. I had vowed myself to the team. I said, "Look, man, if we place, if this year we have to take at least first and second all the way through. The least it have to be second place. If we don't take it, I'm not going to J4 making a fool out of myself." And then I said, and to top it off, we have to beat NGE, right? I said, man, we have to beat them. If we see them in the finals this year, we have to beat them. So we ended up, because we never beat them. You know, we'll take them 3-game all the time, but we'll come close, side outs, you know, I mean, deuces all the time, but we never beat them. And I'm like, look, man, this year we got to beat them. And then so, like that year, '99, no, 98, you know, when I started playing with the guys, you know, we ended up running into NG in finals in Stockton New Year.
Yeah.
And so I said, look, man, if we don't beat them this tournament, I tell you guys, I'm not going with you guys J4. I don't care what you guys say. I'm not going.
Ultimatum, man.
Yeah, so Stu, their setter came too. You know, they had their full entire squad. And I was like, man, guys, I'm serious. You know, I mean, these guys are great players, but we have to beat them at least once, you know. And so, yeah, we played a hard out. And in Stockton, we don't play on grass, man. We play on concrete.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was all concrete. So when you hit, literally, you hear the ball. It's like, dude, it was like this hard knock on the concrete. It was just like, oof, you know, on the concrete.
Yeah.
And it sounded like Afu was gonna pop that ball, you know. I was like, man, I'm not gonna get to play if this guy long as he's gonna pop that ball, you know. But it was a fun tournament, you know. It was a fun tournament. A lot of people was like, damn, you know, just seeing you put one down, Afu putting down, you put one down, Afu put one down, man, it was intense. But it was a very fun tournament, you know. So, '99, I came up to.
Did you guys win?
No, we didn't. It was our very first experience. We all young. We didn't know it was gonna be that humid. We came up there, and as hard as I trained, my shoulder and my neck cramped. Like I couldn't even do this because the minute I do that, it'll cramp. So I had people like push my shoulder down. It was that bad.
No. Did you guys win against? Did you guys win against NGE?
Yeah, we did actually.
Oh, okay.
That tournament, we ended up winning, taking first. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go. So we ended up coming up to J4 in '99. Yeah, we ended up coming to J4 '99 and played. You know, a lot of people recognized and remembered me when I came back in 2001, I think. You know, when I came back, a lot of people were like, hey, you're Danny. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, '99 we came up, we played. We brought the whole squad, and the lead that set the OG from NSU, he came with us that year. So he wanted to come up there and play. So he came up there with us that year. And we played. We didn't win. We lost to Spirit. Spirit, a third game.
Charlie and those guys, right?
And then we lost to And then we lost to MDY. Going 3 games too.
Is that the year they won?
Yeah. '99. No, that was the year that Airborne.
Okay.
Okay. Man, dude, what's his name? Allen. Oh my gosh, that guy is a beast. Allen from Airborne, man.
Was it Allen?
So, anyways.
Oh yeah.
No, is that the year Airborne? Allen. Yeah. So, it was fun. It was a fun year. We came up there. The hype was real.
Yeah.
The hype, you know, I mean, people who have not experienced J4 hype, today's hype is nothing compared.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's different.
The hype back then, I tell you, it's like every single ball you, every single game you played, stepping on the court, it was like playing in the finals and semifinals, especially if you were an out-of-state team.
The crowd was crazy.
Yeah, the crowd was crazy. Man, you look up that hill and it's everybody. I mean, it's like, wow, you know, and the hype was it was crazy, you know. And what surprised me was that in '99 the net was super low, so I couldn't play on a low net because I trained on a like when we train on a like a 8.3 net to give us that full extension, you know. And so when we came up to Minnesota, it's like the middle was sagging, and I'm like, oh damn, this is like a women's net. And so now you're adjusting like the net's like low, and the one ball is like here, so you're hitting
Yeah,
like this, you
yeah.
know.
It's the
And I'm like,
setter
I
has
can't
to
hit like this.
readjust too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I
Yeah.
can't hit like this. And I mean, if I caught the ball right, man, I was bouncing it at the 5 foot line. But if I didn't catch it, then I couldn't adjust to it because I would get up balls low. I
Too
get up
low.
balls low, and I'm like, I can't hit, guys. You guys have to put the ball high, you know. And it was very difficult to adjust, you know. And but it was fun. It was fun. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. Um, the hype is real. I mean, I've got a taste of J4, and it was fun. You know, it was intense. Like I said, I mean, the crowd was crazy. Like Will said, man, you know, if you're a new team or if you came there and people were like, oh, these guys are pretty good. I mean, if the ball went out to the sideline, don't bother chasing it. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say
throw the
that.
ball back.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
just
say that.
let me throw the ball
You
back.
know, the hype was real when you bounce the ball, and then you don't need to worry about going to pick it up.
Right. Let me throw the ball back. It was
Yeah.
that crazy back then.
Yeah.
And I was like,
The
man,
crowd sometimes are literally like in like the serving spot where you gotta ask them to move, and then and you can't even take a round approach if you hit outside. You can't even take a round approach. You gotta just run in a straight line to go to hit.
right.
Yeah,
It is that crazy.
yeah,
So
that
it's fun.
actually kind of like steered me to train, like staying within the lines, like the confines. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I always train like go outside of the line and approach in, but then like after my first few experiences, I was like, okay, I gotta stay within the lines. You know what I mean? I gotta
Right.
do my approaches within the lines. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
J4 back then, like they did not give a damn. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, everybody was stepping on lines and sitting right
yeah,
there just staring at you. You're just like,
yeah,
oh, give me a little room.
yeah.
Give me a little room. No, you ain't getting
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, you know, I wish I was talking to some of the young bucks, you know, I said, man, if you guys think this J4 is, you know, is something to work hard for, you guys should have seen back in our era. Man, it was crazy, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, the reason why people fought so hard for, and like I tell people, you got to remember that back in our era, we didn't play for big cash prizes. We played for trophy.
Yeah.
But we played hard. I mean, we played our hearts out for trophy, you know, for a damn trophy, you know. So, and things like that. And kids nowadays, it's like you tell them, hey man, you know, what is the cash prize? Oh man, no, we don't want to play. It's too little, you know. It's like, man, really? You know,
Like,
so it's
a
it's completely different, you know.
lot of kids play for clout too, man. They record
Yeah,
themselves and then
yeah,
they create highlight reels
yeah.
and everything. It's like I tell all the young guys here, man. It's like, man, I can't even watch myself play, dude, because I would tear myself up, dude. I would tear that motherfucker up in that video, man. That guy sucked, man. What the hell is he doing? You know what
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I know what you mean, man.
um, so you guys came back at 01, you said?
Oh one, oh
How'd you
three,
guys
and
do
then
on
oh
that?
five.
Okay, how'd you guys do
Oh
in
one,
01?
we came up to play. We didn't really have a team. We just came up to really just have some fun, you know. So we
Okay.
came up and played. Um, we never brought the whole solid team. In '03, we came up there just to kind of came out and hang out. You
Yeah.
know, just kind of like we had a lot of people that was coming up,
I
and
think
then
I
a
think
lot of
oh
people learned
05.
about.
I think oh 05 you
And
guys
then
had your best run, huh?
yeah, in '03 we never had a solid team, so we came up. That year we came up with Sean from Stock Machine.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, let's go up and play. Just have some fun. We're gonna be up there, having fun anyway. So let's just play. We were like, okay, let's just play. So we ended up coming up playing in '03. Excuse me. With Sean and everybody, it was fun. We came up to play, just have some fun. And then we came back in '04. I, kind of talked to some of the guys and say, hey man, let's all work hard, man. Let's all work hard and put the team back together. go back up there and make our last run. So we trained that year. Everybody trained, like trained hard.
When do you guys establish that?
I came back and we were just talking about volleyball, and it was a lot of upsets and disappointment. I mean, you used to be one of the top teams in SAC, and then all of a sudden everybody's goofing off and not placing it. And so I say, look, man, if you guys want to make it the last run and you guys want to goof off, then let's make this one last run. Not here, but let's go to J4, and let's do a comeback tour. So everyone's like, okay. So we trained hard that year. We trained really hard. Like we trained super hard. After the tournament, I was still full of energy. I was like, yeah, I still want to play. I was still goofing off on the last court. We're just playing over there for fun.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where we trained hard. That year we wanted to come back, and then one of the white guys that played with me, his name is Wade. They play for Sac State. We go out and play all the time.
Play for Sac State? Because I remember that dude.
Yeah.
We had no answers to that guy.
Yeah. Man, on grass he plays like that, but if you see that guy hit indoor,
oh
man, that guy.
I already saw him in grass. I don't want no smoke on indoor court, okay?
But yeah, we play together. We play together. So I was just like, hey, wait, you want to go up there, man? You want to go up there play with us? It's a grass tournament. It's a lot of hype. It's a lot of fun. Go up there. And yeah, I'll go. So we ended up coming up. Coming up with us and play. That year we came about 7 players, but 2 were just kind of rookies. So we didn't really play, and we were depending on Jack, which is our, he was supposed to come. He was our middle and our defensive guy, but he didn't show up. Last minute, he just called and said, man, guys, I can't make it, man. So I'm sorry. I'm just like, what? And so, it was a bit disappointing, but we came up there, we played hard, and we played our hearts out. And like I said, Sarnik hyperextended his knee right going into third game. Right when we had momentum playing Chicago. I don't know if you guys saw that game, but
yeah, I saw that game.
Yeah, right into third game, right when we picked up momentum, and then bam, it's just like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
So it was disappointing, but it was fun. I mean, we played our hearts out, and like I said, I mean, it was worth the training and coming back, our last comeback tour and stuff like that. So it was fun. I mean, it was really fun. That was probably our most disappointing loss. It's probably our most disappointing loss because it was. I mean, like we weren't expecting the injury, and then we didn't have enough players too. So it's just kind of like, if we would have had that one player that was, if Jack would have came, and we would have, we wouldn't have had a missing link. I think it would have been fun, But it is what it is. It is what it is. So after that, we just kind of all just split. And then I moved up to Minnesota in 06. And in June of 06. So I moved up, and then I played with you guys in 06.
Yeah, you did.
Let's
talk about that, man. That was
that was a fun tournament, man. That was a really fun tournament.
That was.
It was one of the most, I would say, one of the most exciting and the most fun tournament I played.
Yeah.
Outside of my own team. Because there was a lot of respect, and everybody wanted to play hard. Everybody played at the same level, knew what to do, just get up there and just play.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was super fun. And coming from, like, we were like an underdog team. A lot of people kind of like, yeah, whatever, those guys. And we played all the way up to semis.
Yeah.
I think it shook a lot. It shocked a lot of people. To realize that, man, that team made it to semis. What the hell,
Yeah.
But it was a very fun year. It was a very, very fun year,
Yeah.
Peng, was it that year where you guys drew your jerseys and stuff? Was it that one year, or did you guys have? You guys had some. Was that all conference?
No, it wasn't all conference. I think it was like.
That year we had white. That year we had white T-shirt and just markered.
Yes. As all conference, we like Joe said, we spray painted it, but when we played with Danny, it was, so that year was 06. Yeah,
Yeah, it was 06.
Okay.
I still got a picture. I still got a picture that I posted.
Why don't you send it to me, bro?
it was in the it was in the Hmong time. It was on the back
Oh,
page of the
đó.
Hmong time.
Mới
It
nhớ
says,
á.
it says this is where talent starts, and this is when we were playing Airborne 2 in the
Oh,
semi.
okay. In semi, yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, we're all like little midgets, man. And like the other team's all like giants.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah. Because thằng đó nhắc á Chineng, I think Chineng was like he said he is your cousin or one of those guys or your cousin. Chineng is your cousin, and then Hmong and Whopper were Hmong and Whopper was like, you know, they came up to me and they're like, you know, I didn't expect to go play, you know, but they wanted me to go play anyway. So I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll go play. Because they were like, yeah, it's just gonna be dojo, you know, you know, Whopper. It was Hmong talk to me. Mom was like, yeah, it's just Whopper, you know, my cousin from NC, and then tell Danny, and he was like, I was like, who's Danny? Danny, they play live, you know, you know, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going, man. That guy, yes, I'm going. Let's go, let's do this. And then, and I don't know how Yoko got on board. But
you're the one who's doing all the work. No,
I don't think I was. I don't think I was. I think you were.
Okay, we need to get the footages.
I think you and Yoko did. Well, Yoko, I don't know how Yoko got on board, but he was on board because back then we didn't have no like a Facebook Messenger or whatever.
Right.
I was just going off what Hmong was saying. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, let's go, man. I'll show up and then we'll play.
I got a call from Nang. Like right after 05. But right after J4, he called me already right away. He said, hey, are you guys come back next year? I said, nah, this is our last comeback tour. I mean, we're done. And it's like, okay, you better not play with anybody. Because I was like,
yeah,
sure. Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said to me. Yeah, so I was like, what? I'm not even sure if I'm coming back. He's like, okay, if you don't come back, that's fine. But if I see you play with somebody else, so that means you better not play with anybody else. If you're gonna play up here in J4, it better be with me. I said, okay, I'm a man of my word. I'll play. So yeah, and then you know, he just said, yeah, I got a few people. We just play, and we kind of just met up on that first day. You know, just where's the team? Met up and introduced each other and just play,
I know.
You know, so
I know it's so weird and awkward.
It was a fun tournament.
Yeah. Because I remember when we first met, what's up, and then we just started bumping. It was like all weird and awkward. And then when we got in the court, you know what I mean? Because
it was natural. Everybody was
like Danny was, you know, he was a hype guy, and I was kind of a hype guy too. I had a short temper, and I just want to like crush everybody. You know what I mean? So we kind of fed off each other, and Yoko was kind of in that mode too, you know what I mean? So, and then we just kind of fed off each other, and then we just kept on going. I was like, dang, we made it all the way to. Oh yeah, I think it was New and Steve that played with us too that year, but Steve got injured, and then Steve didn't finish the tournament, but New finished it off with us. But yeah, that was.
Yeah,
that was kind of funny. It was.
Dude, you know, it's funny to sound like that was one of the most memorable and fun tournament I've ever played. Honestly, you know, it was because we're a bunch of underdogs. I mean, we're a bunch of strangers just put together to play. You know, I mean, we had no clue of each other's expectation, and we just played through, and it was fun. It was like, oh shit, it was fun, you know, and it was a really fun tournament. You know, that is one of my most memorable tournaments.
Because
who are some of the competition you guys ran through that year to get all the way there? Holy cow! Was your bracket pretty tough?
I don't think it was, to be honest. Yeah, I think
our hardest bracket was like I said, going up against you know, and that's in semis when we met Airborne 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it would eventually be the champ.
Yeah.
KO.
Oh no, KO beat them.
Yeah, KO beat them that year. Yeah. So it was just them, KO. Who else was it a competitive team?
We played in that quarterfinals. We played that Minnesota team, but they were pretty decent that year.
That year, Raven came back to try to defend their title, and that's when Lan
Lang got
dislocated his knee.
injured. Yeah, Lang got
Yeah,
injured,
that
and Pun
year.
and them won, but
Yeah,
Pun should have KO in
yeah,
quarterfinals. Yeah,
yeah. So it was man, it was one of those things. It was there was
yeah,
a lot of good teams. I don't think we ran across a really hard team that year.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so it was pretty
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it kind of worked in our favor, because we're
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of, we're trying to create chemistry, and then it kind of came along. We
yeah,
played against kind of like non-competitive teams, then we
yeah,
kind of just gained momentum, and then we took Airborne 2 to 3 games, and
yeah.
third game we came up short, but man, it was
Man, I
pretty
remember
tough.
when I went up blocking one of the guys. I literally like my neck was extended. Holy shit, this
Yeah,
guy was
I know.
tall.
I
Oh,
know.
I just
I
kind of like,
know.
whoa, man, this
Yeah,
guy is huge. I'm like,
yeah,
shit, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, but it was fun. That was a
yeah.
fun year.
That was
Fun
fun.
year.
Yeah.
A
All
lot of
right,
great memories, man.
yeah, I know. I know. What would you say is your most memorable Hmong volleyball win?
I would say my most memorable would probably be, like I said, the win from
Yeah.
NGE.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Because I mean, because that it wasn't the win alone. It was the fact that I put my team. I mean, I gave them an ultimatum. It was
Yeah.
either we win or I'm not going to J4.
Yeah.
Okay, and to see everybody say, like we always had a goal as a team. Like we had a shutdown moment. Like
Yeah.
okay, you can goof off, we can do whatever we want, but the minute we say shut down,
Mhm.
that means that we're able to rack points and not give them points. If I
Yeah.
needed a side out, it needs to be done. And so I was able to see my team exceed that expectation right then and there,
Mm.
when we played them, and I think that was,
Yeah.
for me, that was that was probably my best win, to see my team step up the way they did, as a team in general, and not just everybody, oh yeah, this guy can do this and that, but as a team to say, okay, look, I mean, it's crunch time, and
Mhm.
it needs to happen. And to me, that it meant a lot to see my team not goof off and take me seriously, and say, okay,
Mhm.
this is going to mean something. So, if we're going to go, then this is it. And so that
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
memorable win for me right there alone.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Because
it's probably one of my most
they
memorable wins.
responded, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They just stepped up and they just said, okay. I said,
Yeah.
I'm serious, guys. If
Mhm.
we don't win this, I tell you guys, I don't care you guys go. I'm not going. I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys that right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so everybody said, all right, crunch time right here, let's go. And
Mhm.
then so we just came and it was just boom, boom, boom. So it came into our favor, and being able to see the team respond and play as a unit and not just
Mhm.
individual,
Yeah.
Right.
was to me, it was very memorable because we were able to, combine our heads together and work together as
Yeah.
a whole, So that was one of my most memorable wins. I would probably say,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Dang. All right, let's get to the fun part.
All right.
So name 5 underrated players.
Mm.
5 underrated players. I think Kevin from MVP.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's a good player, but I don't think people give him enough credit. Probably because he's taller and he's a big guy, Kevin.
Mhm.
Benny Lee from NSU.
Mm-hmm.
The OG legends. His first son, not Chris, but Benny.
Which one? Which
Um,
one is it? The middle hitter or the?
yeah, I think he's the middle
Okay.
hitter.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say him is because this guy can run anything, man. Shoot, tandem, stacks. I mean, ones, twos. I mean, he blocks, passes. He does everything.
Yeah.
He does a lot of plays with finesse, but he's not an aggressive player like Chris is.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is like, man, you give him the ball, and he's a hype man. Goes up high, super cuts and all that stuff. So everybody's like, oh, OT and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't think Benny gets enough credit. I think this
Mm-hmm.
guy, he's a great player. Watching him develop as a young kid when I was playing him, he was still very real young, and just getting into the sport. His dad making him play out there with us and stuff like that, and seeing him grow. Like I said, it's I don't think he gets enough credit.
Yeah.
He's you know, overall player. He's a great player. I think in my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
I think like I said, earlier from OG. You know, I don't think enough people give him enough credit. Uh, he's a great player in my eyes. I think he's a great player. Very good player. You know, I mean, like I said, it's hard to stop this guy. He racks up a lot of points, blocks. I mean, go out and block him. I don't care. You two people block him. He'll go off your hands. He don't care. You know, he hit flat. You know, and he's backing up points. And people don't see that he puts it straight down. And feels like, no, he don't. You know, it's not all that. Everybody wants to see the guy that puts it down at the 5 foot line. You know, oh, that's the guy. And he doesn't put it at the 5 foot line. He's a guy who hits flat. He hits, you know, more of the, you know, towards the line. And but I think he's an awesome player, man. You know, I mean, just overall, I think he's an awesome player. Not a lot of people give him enough credit. So I like to, you know, recognize these guys.
Yeah.
Sue from NGE. I think Afu mentioned him. That's Afu's cousin, the setter. Man, if you seen this guy play, this guy's buff, man. He's like the Hulk, you know, super buff. And man, this guy play, he has a lot of finesse. You know, back then, seeing the team, you know, develop. You know, if Afu and them couldn't side out, he'll just have one of the guys, like, you know, like there's a Hmong guy named Fu. He'll say, hey, Fu, set for me, and you know, Sue would come and get the side out. He'll just go side out, come back and set. You know, that was him. And this guy has so much finesse in his hands, man. Like, he was the guy who made Afu. Like I said, Afu had that quick glitch. Like, he was just, you know, a little hunch, and he's already up there. I mean, posing. And Sue, that guy's hands are like so big. Like, I've seen him play, and like the ball comes in his hand, all he does is just flip it like that. And the ball the ball don't even spin, man. The ball just kind of just lifts. And it goes right exactly where Afu wants to hit. And all Afu had to do was hit. I mean, it's like, damn, this guy can put it anywhere. I was like, this guy makes, you know, setting look like it was nothing, you know? So, yeah, you know, but that was one of the things, you know, he was that guy. He was that guy. So, and like I said, you know, those are pretty much my guys, man. I think, you know, all those guys, I think B from, Lon's brother, B. You know, he came up there. B's one of those players where he's not as explosive as Lon is. But this guy, like, the taller your block, like the higher he hit. That guy, he's one of those players. And he's not much taller than me. He's probably my height or a little bit taller than me. That's it. And that guy can do a lot of damage too, you know. So I think that these are kind of like the underrated players that not too many people give them enough credit for, you know. And I myself would like to recognize these guys. That these one of the guys that, you know, if you ever saw these guys play at their prime, man, these guys are actually, you know, really, really good players.
This is one heck of a list, man. Yeah. These guys, I think on any team they would probably be like the top guy. They should live by like good talent, so you'll recognize him.
Yeah, I think if I had all these guys on my team just as a team and to play, I think that's a team of a team as itself, you know. You know. So yeah, these are some pretty badass guys. I mean, you know, these are some badass guys. So not enough people talk about them or give them enough credit, I think, you know. So, again, yeah, I like to recognize these guys, you know.
All right. Next question. This one. 5 players, past or present, that you would have loved to play with.
Man, I would say I would love to play with Lon, lefty from Raven.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing his finesse, being able to play at his caliber. My second one would be Allen from Titans. Man, this guy's got attitude, you know, and his attitude is, we play to win attitude. Now we win to play. You know the difference in what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to win. Oh, we know we're gonna win. Let's play. You know, he's like, let's play to win. I don't care. It may be a bit of a challenge, but let's get in there and play. He has that big attitude. You know, I see that in Allen. You know, he has that. I'm gonna go out there. I'm play my heart out, and I'm gonna play to win. I'm not here to win to play. I'm here to play to win. So Allen would be the second guy. Sean from Machine. I played with him one tournament, but I mean, we really just screwing around. Never got a chance to really play my heart out with him. Like, just come out and have him play his heart out. You know. DJ from Squad. I don't know if you guys. He came up there. And the lefty. The lefty that played with Team California. They came up there, but I think down here he played with Squad. Team it's called Squad. That guy is a beast, man. That lefty guy. And I would say Sue from NGE, the setter. I think then those would be my, the 5 guys. If I ever got a chance to put together a team and play, I think these would be my dream team right here. Yeah.
That's a good list.
And a lot of it too is the only person that had much of a shit talking attitude would be Sean. You know, and it's good to have one shit talker on your team, but not the whole team. You know what I'm saying?
Get everyone going.
Yeah. You know, so like that's why I kind of picked Sean, you know, and the other 5 guys are, man, these 5 guys are, I would say, probably some of the most humble people. You know, like you come out, talk to them, there's a, man, I just know what I think I can do. You know, I'm not like, oh yeah, I could do this and I could do that. And these guys are just like, you know, you go out there and do what you gotta do, you know, and they're very modest. You know? So to me, attitude is everything. You know, you have the attitude to win, but you don't have to be snotty about it. You know, you go out there and you let your game do the talking. People are like, oh damn, I didn't know this guy could hit like that. It's like, oh shit, it comes up. You know, like this generation, I see too many young folks doing all the talking before they even go out. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna learn how to cut like this guy, cut like that guy, and year after year in the same spot. Like they can't, seem to proceed it. You know, and it's like you already talked about it, and you're not even there. You know, which a lot of the most humble players. I mean, the great players are again, they're the most humble. So,
yeah, for sure. They let their game do the talking. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? So, do you still play? Do you still like? Are you involved in the game in any phase at all? Besides, I know that you coached, but
I haven't played for over like almost 3 years now.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Not even open gym. Like I go out open gym. I used to go out open gym here and there, but it's like I don't have the time. Like I said, ever since my wife got pregnant, it's like, to me, I love her too much. To have her do a lot of work and stuff like that. So like I pamper her, I baby her. So it's like,
good for you.
I don't. Yeah, so I just kind of like, I mean, I think I rode this train long enough. It's time to, and my body's not doing the work that I want to, because my favorite sport, my favorite game out of volleyball is reverse forced. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that sport, that game, but reverse force is my favorite, man.
What is that? I'm not familiar with that. What?
It's when you have 2 guys and 2 girls, and you have two. You play on a women's net, height net.
Okay.
But the guys could only hit from the back court.
Back pro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can only hit from back court. When the game first started, when it came out back in 99, 2000, 2001, the men were allowed to block men if they hit.
Right.
But now they no longer allow men to block men at all. So it's just, you have to have good women that can hit.
Okay.
And and can block. Ideally you need taller women to play. So I love that game. It's like I can, back then it's like I could put anywhere in the court because you're minimal of people.
Right.
And most people, like we do a lot of finesse work, with the wrist. So it was easy to kind of
some of us don't put your skill and your talent, don't generalize that amongst us all, okay? We don't have your control and your swing, okay? Not all of us do, okay?
So So I mean, going out there and being able to play that game, to me it was fun. You know, it's fun because the women can hit at their caliber because it's at their height.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and men we can still play at our caliber. Like for me, back when I at my prime, a 10-foot, you know, I mean, hitting from 10-foot back row didn't mean anything on a women's net. I was like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I was still putting it down at the 10-foot line anyways. Who cares,
Mhm.
you know?
Right.
So it
Right.
was fun, you know. But you know, I going out play, I realized I can't even play the sport I love. You know, that's why if you guys follow me, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I have converted into sand, which is a much slower pace volleyball.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's plodding and stuff like that. And so, I mean, you know, just a lot of my time, and I just kind of sat down and said, look, I mean, my wife
Yeah.
is having you know, she's having my baby, and I'm
Mhm.
starting a new family, and you know, I mean, I want to be there for her, my baby, and
Congrats,
just
man.
yeah, thank you. And I just wanted to, you know, just say, look, I mean, I've rode this train long enough. It's time to get
Mhm.
off, you know, and
Oh
just kind
man.
of leave it to the young guys, and you know,
Yeah.
to take it from here. So I retired, you
Okay.
know, just
Man.
yep.
Okay, what about top 5 Sacramento players?
Man, you know, like I said, it's hard to find players in Sacramento because we're a big city, but we don't have a very big um team, you know,
Okay,
of
so you
volleyball
shouldn't
that
have a
people are
problem putting yourself
seriously.
in there.
No, I would probably say my first would probably be Chris from NSU. That guy, he's really young. He stepped up to the game. I think he wanted to meet and exceed his dad, the legend, you know, the OG
Yeah,
legend's
yeah.
reputation. So he stepped up and just said, "Look, I'm going to supersede him." So I
Hey,
think he did.
what happened to them? How come they didn't?
I don't know. I when I moved back here, I just you know, I heard that the OG retired, and so they kind of still played at the name. I think in 2017 it came back here. The name NSU was still going, but I think that I heard that Chris had a bad shoulder because he was swinging too much. And so him and Benny stopped playing. Their dad stopped playing, and Kyle from the white guy. I think he's running the team.
Yeah,
He's, you know, I think the lefty Vietnamese guy. That guy's a beast, man.
yeah.
Yeah. A few of them are still playing, but not. You know, that was like the last year that I've seen them play. So I
Yeah.
don't know if they're still, you know, playing or not. I don't know. But that was the
Yeah.
last up because that year I
Okay.
met Kyle. I ran up into Kyle, talked to him. He's like, "Yeah, we're playing. You know, come watch us play. You know, come cheer us on." So I went over there and watched him play for a little bit. But again, it's almost all new players. So I don't know. But
Cool.
yeah, it'd be Chris from NSU. Uh, you know, the lefty I just mentioned from NSU,
Yeah.
the Vietnamese guy, because he's from Sac too. I know there's a lot of great players out there, Stockton, Merced, Fresno, but here in Sac alone, those two, um, Josh from Supernatural. He's one of
Yeah.
the younger guys, you know, and Tony. I don't. He didn't play with Supernatural. He came up with Titans last year. Well, the last year that they had J4,
Okay.
skinny guy. I think he's got a lot of potential. You know, he's a great player. I mean, he plays almost every he can play almost every style that you put forth out there. You know, I mean, you know, he runs tandem, he an outside back. You know, I think he's a great player. He's tall, and he's a great player. He's a very deadly player. You know, I went out to the park to play against him a couple times. I'm like, guys, you know, he reminds me a lot of myself. You know, he's just a taller
Yeah.
version, but he's able to
Yeah.
do a lot of dirt. You know, and
Yeah.
he's a real mellow guy. You know, he doesn't do a lot of talking. Well, maybe I haven't seen it, but yeah, I think he's a great player here in Sac alone. You know, those would be the guy. And one of the guys I think that don't get enough credit would be my setter, Sarn.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy can. I mean, he's a great hitter. You know, I mean, he's a great hitter, and I think his biggest, strongest asset was his blocking. I've never seen any blocker during my entire career that is as good as this guy.
Mm.
Like he was the guy, and I'm sorry to say this, fool. I mean, I love you, man, but he was the guy that literally stopped Afu from hitting.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, and he, man, this guy is like, and every time we talk, like we'll have a team huddle meeting, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
and he'll come. He's just like, hey, you know what? Let me get hot and blocking. Let me get hot and blocking. He doesn't
Mm.
talk about I want to hit, I want to
Mhm.
set, but his main focus was, let me get hot and blocking. Let me get hot and
Right.
blocking.
Mhm.
And when he gets hot and blocking, man, this guy goes up and block and hit and set. I
Mhm.
mean, he does everything. I'm just like,
That gets him
holy,
going, huh? That
yeah,
block it gets him
yeah.
going. Mhm.
So his main motivation with this guy is not hitting.
Mhm.
He gets he gets. I mean, like he gets jump started by blocking. So when he
Mhm.
starts getting his block in, man, he's got to go crazy. He can
Mhm.
hit. He can. So I think this is one of some of the great players that I've seen here in Sacramento
Mhm.
alone that we have. That
Mhm.
again, not a lot of people recognize them. Like like my setter, like I said, because he's my setter. A lot of people probably saying, man, because he's your setter, but the
Mhm.
potential, I give people what they deserve, and I think that
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
he deserves that recognition. He's one of those guys. So these will probably be my list for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What what about your most devastating loss, man? Come on,
Yeah,
let's
devastating loss would probably
relive
be
it.
by like I was just telling you. Man, my most devastating loss would be '05 J4. We came up there,
Mhm.
made our run. I think I wouldn't have been so devastated if we didn't train so hard.
Mhm.
I mean, we came up there and we just like, let's just go and play like in 2001, 2003. We just having fun. I mean, who cares, right? And we're just having
Mhm.
fun, guys. Just go have a blast. Well, there anyway, so just play.
Mhm.
The fact that we trained all year, like me and Sarn, we were both at the best shape of our lives.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't realize how high I was getting up on that net, and until Hmong time had took a photo of me going in for a one, and I was literally chest high on top of the
Yeah.
net. I was like,
Wow.
and one of the guy came up to me with the Hmong time and said, "Dude, this is you right here." And this is when it was the second day when we had our red uniform on already.
Hmm.
Wow. What happened to Dan?
Oh,
Froze.
did his phone die?
Not sure, but we lost him. But holy cow, hopefully he comes back.
Yeah.
I never really seen him at his prime, man. Holy cow, man. If his chest was up there, dude,
Oh, I saw
was he
him. Oh,
dunking?
I saw him. Man, we can ask him, but I saw him '05. I don't know. That's pretty close.
Really? Holy cow, man. I was wondering if he was dunking and stuff. He could probably grab women.
I would say he was pretty close.
Man, so his whole
Like,
head must have been up there.
oh, he was up there, man. Like, to put the
He,
ball down, by 5 feet line.
yeah. But he
You
said
know
he
what I
didn't
mean?
really work on his jump. He worked on his core. So that's
Man, he must be
so a lot of
lying,
that jump.
dude. He's a
Oh,
lion.
man. And
Yeah.
that jump must be natural. I don't know if you look at his leg. Is it big or anything? Or is it just like
No, I mean, but Lena, he was fit, like his upper
yeah,
body, his core,
yeah,
his legs is just, just like any normal,
yeah,
short guy who like does
yeah.
squats and all that stuff. You know what I mean? He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
big from, like compared to anything else, but you know what I mean? But he had like, a lot of explosiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I
And I
mean?
think he worked on it too. So,
Yeah.
he knew how some people work out where they just work out to get big or whatever. I think he knew the volleyball workout, like the correct muscles to work on. So
Yeah.
that's you know.
Yeah. So, but that year, that year, man, he was straight up flying out the gym, bro. Like
You talking about
I
that
said,
2006 year when you guys put together?
2005, 2005,
Or the year before? You guys played?
2005, 2006. He was kind of tapering. But 2005
Mhm.
is when I had that
When you saw him?
I had that D'Angelo Russell moment. Like this guy, dude, man, stretch though.
He stood out, huh?
Dude,
He
like
stood out.
I was like,
Different.
damn, this mofo is for real. You know what I mean? And yeah, he did a lot of dirt, man. Like he was killing. Yeah, and unfortunately they lost to Chicago. And yeah,
Was that those Chicago team? Was it the Corey and then we're playing already, or
no. They had Dan. He's a white guy.
gotcha?
He was like I want to say 6'3", 6'5", white guy. Let me message him real quick.
Okay.
But they had Dan. They had Dan coming. Lewis was setting. I think did they have Knock? I think they had Knock, and they had what's his name? That Filipino dude, Chris. That Chris, and then did they have John? Was John playing? Maybe John was playing with him.
Maybe.
Yeah, John, and then I forget who else, but yeah, they had that squad. They were really good too. Like they were like a really balanced team. You know what I mean? And they had beaten Ravens. They had beaten Raven the first day, and they were pissed, dude. Raven was pissed, and they were on a mission. I remember I was like, man, I remember watching Raven. They were pissed, and after that, they just walked through everybody.
Raven did?
Yeah, and then when they got in the finals, I remember talking to Knock. I was like, hey man, y'all got Raven. He's like, yeah, we beat them first day. I was like, okay, man. I was like, okay. And, in my head, I was like, okay, man, whatever, dude. This the freaking finals, dude. Anything can happen, You know what I mean? And they went in, they got their ass whooped, dude. Yeah.
Man.
But I remember Danny and them playing Komeng and them, and yeah, Danny was doing a lot of dirt, man. But like Danny said, they lost.
Player, right?
Yeah. Thôi thế Danny thế tao mình cả đơ.
Okay.
But yeah, they had their chance to win, but they lost. Their setter got injured and all that. But yeah, man, unfortunately, I don't think he's gonna come back on. But
Okay. That's
yeah,
fine. I think he shared a lot of his.
Yeah, maybe he was scared of the star bench and cut. Man, this dude was ditching out. That was that next question too.
Who did you have?
Oh man, I was gonna go because he was talking a lot about Toshong from Stock the Machine and Donzo from Superpower.
Okay.
And Afu. So I was gonna say start bench Afu, Shong, and Zoli.
All right. What's up, Danny? Man, you got to answer this question. You could put it in the text or something, Danny.
Yeah, this mug. This dude can't be dodging these questions. Come on now.
Well, we want to thank Danny for coming on and sharing his journey with us and just his conversation, man.
Yeah, he gave us, man, over an hour, 45 minutes of stuff, almost 2 hours, man, of stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Wait. He's gonna come back on. He said.
Oh, is he? Okay, cool. We'll put it on record.
I don't know if he's finding another device or whatever. But I remember, 2006, right? Let's talk about that. 2006, Hmong and then was like, yeah, just go, Pantawan, just mention Nang, and I was like, yeah.
Were you guys even playing at all during that time? Like,
we weren't playing. We weren't necessarily playing together. We were playing here and there because they had their kind of own ideals and they were kind of playing their own. And then
you played with Chicago already, right? Did you?
No.
Okay.
No. I was kind of sticking around with New and Steve, you know. So
Right.
I wanted them to come along too, you know what I mean? So I was telling them, you know, like why don't we just have New and Steve come with us, and you know, and then just so we have players, you know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And I was like, yeah, y'all can play your 6 too, and that's what they did. That's what we did. But when they said Danny, I was like, man, let's go, let's do this. You know what I mean?
You remember him?
Yeah, dude. You ever seen?
Danny?
We can't see you though. It was
All
like
right.
okay. Or I was just telling Will when I first met you. It's like it was like quickly from the Knicks when he met Lou Will.
Yeah.
Quick was like, you my favorite player growing up, man. Lou Will's like, all right, bro. They just dab, you know, and whatever. It's like I was like, man, dude, my favorite player.
Man, whoever has those videos, man, need to upload those Danny videos.
Right?
Okay.
Right? I think those are
don't, bro.
awesome videos.
Don't. We were trash, but we're gonna make it seem like we were like a boss, bro.
Right?
We're gonna make it seem like, man, I was jumping waist high, bro. I was jumping waist high on these guys.
Yeah, you know, getting back into the conversation though. I'm sorry about that, guys. My internet, I don't know what happened, but my data just went bad. But yeah, I think my biggest disappointment was 05. You know, 05 was my biggest disappointment. We trained hard for it. You know, Sean was in his best shape probably of his life. You know, same with I. You know, and coming up there and playing our hearts out, and it didn't go accordingly to how we would expect it. So everybody probably our most disappointing.
How was some of the conversation afterwards? Were you guys kind of just like, man, this is it, or was it kind of, you know, how was some of the emotions or the conversations right after the game?
That was just we just kind of sat down and just said, you know, I mean, you know, it was our last final straw, and you know, we tried to come back and make a run, a good comeback, and it didn't pan out the way we wanted to, and so we just kind of left it at that. But
because going in, you guys already knew that it was this was it. No matter win, lose, or draw, this is like this is it.
That year we were undefeated. You know, we took most teams just two games. We met Airborne that year. Man, we met Airborne that year. When that was the first year they had Joe. They brought Joe. And you know, I remember they did a comeback too that year. I think the original Airborne. And they came back, and because Airborne was sitting right next to us, we were side by side next to each other. When we walked into the court, man, so many people didn't give us the credit. Like they're just like, man, you know, we got 24-pack on Airborne, and man, who got money on Airborne? You know, 100 for 20, and
talking
you know,
a lot of crap.
A lot of people, you know, there's a lot of crap, shit talking, you know, and we went in there and we just played. We took 2 games. We took them 2 games straight, and everybody's like, "Hey, what team was that?" You know, I mean, we came and sat down next to Airborne, and a lot of people were like, "What team is that?" They're like, "That's from Sacramento, dude. That's the Sac Live." And so they're like, "Oh, they're pretty good, huh?" You know, people start recognizing us after the Airborne beat, the win after the win of Airborne. You know, so like I said, we sat next to them. A lot of people was just kind of like, "Dude, we got money on Airborne. This team is no, you know." There's like all kind of shit talking, and you know, we got 24-pack. Who got 24-pack? They're all just, you know, and
you guys should go win and get that 24-pack, man. Bring it over here.
But that year we trained real hard. You know, we trained real hard. You know, and like I said, we were undefeated all the way until just that one loss. We took that one loss, and that was it.
So what was
And
the
that
situation?
was
Why was it your guys' last run? Were you guys just getting older, or what was happening there?
yeah, we weren't playing ball. I was the only one that was active in the volleyball community.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was kind of just playing here and there. Not really serious. We played, but it wasn't serious. Like I said,
Right.
we played. We got into playing tournaments, but no more placing. It's like,
Right.
dude, what happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
We used to be a team that, like, everywhere we went, people feared us. People
Right.
knew who we were, and now people are just like, we're like a laughing stock. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
So let's make this run, and maybe not here in SAC, but I mean, shit,
Mhm.
let's that's gonna be long term, but let's make one last run. And we just kind of all sat down and said, okay, if everybody trained, and let's go. And so everybody's like, okay, we're down to train. So we started training. And I was keeping in touch with my setter,
Mhm.
Arn, and you can see the progress of that guy just bulging up, and
Mhm.
just getting big. And he's like, no, don't worry, I'm not getting big. Just for that, but I'm training for the tournament, man.
Mhm.
I want to go in there in my best condition and win. So
Mhm.
that hyped me even more. So I was like training even harder. I was like,
Mhm.
shit, okay, this guy's training, so I need to train.
Yeah.
So we came in full force, and it didn't, like I said, when we lost, we just all sat down. It was disappointing, but
Mhm.
we all just kind of said, we knew if we didn't have that injury, the game would have
Mhm.
been ours.
Right.
We would have met Raven in the finals, and that would have been a real fun game.
Mhm.
Meeting some of our buddies from home, and
Mhm.
they knew how we play, we knew how they played, so it would have been
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And that was the year they brought Blong and John. That was the first year that
Yeah.
Blong debuted. Was
Brothers.
with
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. So and John was ambidextrous. Both left. No, John was left-handed, and Blong
Mhm.
was ambidextrous. So that year, those guys were, man, they're deadly. So
Mhm.
it would have been fun. Been really fun to, come up there and play, meet those guys in the final. But again, like a lot of, a few of my teammates said, we didn't lose. We
Mhm.
literally gave it because we didn't have enough players,
Right.
and they're using our weak spots and
Mhm.
literally picking on our weak spots. So,
Mhm.
um, we couldn't play as a unit. Every team, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Right.
And everybody knows that. You're
Yeah.
only as strong as your weakest link. I don't care if you got 5 solid guys, you got one rookie in there, they're gonna pick on that guy until he cries, man.
Yeah.
So that was probably my most disappointing year. But
Mhm.
it was fun. Like I said, we came up there. We played hard. Everybody played hard. We played our hearts out, and that was all that counts, man. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Start,
This is gonna be
bench,
good.
and cut.
You
You're the
know how it
coach.
works, right, Danny?
Oh,
All
hey,
right.
hey! Before
Okay.
before we go into that, can you talk a little bit about your coaching? Like when
Um,
did you get involved in coaching and all that?
I coached a bit when I was here in SAC.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Again with one of my SAC State guys, um, Brian Contreras. I don't know. A lot of you guys know him. I'm trying to locate him too. He just kind of disappeared. He was Wade's best friend. We coach this girl club called Bolt,
Mhm.
and I was just his assistant. I got into coaching. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Mhm.
Um, I was like an assistant coach, so I didn't
Mhm.
know much about it. I was young,
Mhm.
and then getting into it when I first moved up, I want to make an impact in the volleyball world.
Mhm.
I started off with community center. They
Mhm.
didn't pay me nothing. It was just all volunteer work, but I wanted
Mhm.
to develop that and see it grow. And 1 year into my community work, I came across a friend, Koo,
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
MDY. He
Hmm.
had a buddy. I don't know if you guys remember Kwong, Kwong Vo from License to Kill. Back
Mhm.
then, one of the OG teams, Vietnamese
Mhm.
guy.
Mhm.
He coached for this club called Wicked Moose. And
Mhm.
so Koo had. Then he hit me up and said, "Hey, I heard you used to coach." I said, "Yeah, I used to coach. Why? What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, you mind if we partner up? My first year coaching, maybe we can get in there and partner up. and coach a team. I said, yeah, that'd be great. So he introduced me to the owner of Wiki Moves, which is Drew. Is a
Mhm.
white guy, and yeah, we went in there, he interviewed me, and he said, yeah, they would love me to jump on board. So me and Ku tackled on 14-1, which is his daughter was also on the team.
Mhm.
And so we hit it off. That after that, me and Ku took on different teams. Um, you know, he had a little experience, so we started we tackled different teams.
Okay.
Um, I I couldn't remember. I think I took a break that year. I'm not sure whether I took a break or did I coach that year, but yeah, I think I took a break.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I got into coaching, and I figured, I'm getting old. A lot of my, a lot of my skills, are. I realize it's all technical. It doesn't
Right.
matter what we think. It's all technical. So technical and motor work. So if I
Right.
can implement these in these young kids and teach them, their motor skills and their again technical skills, that'll and build a mentality of play to win, not win to play. Like, oh, we need
Mhm.
a good solid team to play, otherwise I don't want to play. And just say we go out there and build it.
Mhm.
Be that leader. Be that first person to step up and do whatever. I
Mhm.
have a lot of my own philosophies in volleyball, in my coaching and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But wanting that knowledge, um, wanting what I worked so hard for my entire life to not just died after I quit
Right.
or I
Right.
retired. I wanted that to kind of pass on my philosophies,
Mhm.
my methods, things like that. And so I got into it and just kind of went full force. So
Mhm.
made a lot of friends. Made a lot of friends out there with parents. Helping a lot of kids, stuff like that. And Coop's still going on strong. Coop's still going on
Mhm.
strong with
Yeah.
with coaching.
Guy's on
He's
program
been
now, huh?
yeah, he's been nagging me to get back there. He's like, man, I need your help. Get back here and help me out, man. Just come back and coach for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I would love to. I'm stuck here now. I would
Yeah.
love to, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Him and his family, they're like family to me. He's like a big
Mhm.
brother to me. So,
Mhm.
he took me under his arm, took up there. I didn't have family, and he was like family to me.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we got into it, and again, just wanted a lot of my skills to in my whatever to kind of live on
Mhm.
through kids
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and
Awesome.
so that was kind of what led me to coaching. So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's
It's-
very heartbreaking that I with my busy schedule I couldn't continue.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
heartbreaking, but
That's
so
awesome.
that's what. Yeah, thanks.
All right. With that being said, you're gonna be the coach.
All
Start, bench,
right,
and cut. You gotta start one, bench one, and you gotta unfortunately you gotta cut one. Um,
all right.
so three guys, okay? We're gonna go with Xiong from Stockton Machine, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Zheli from Superpower,
Uh-huh.
and then Afu.
Man, why you gotta give me all like such a hard list, man? um,
Because you're such a great coach.
if I was to start bench and cut,
Mhm.
it's gonna be hard, but I think I will start off Sean.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The reason why I say I would start off Sean is he's a shit talker.
Mhm.
Afu, if you see Afu at his prime, he doesn't talk. He get in there and get the job done. Like Afu
Mhm.
don't need to talk. He gets in there and gets the job done. He smiles, he smirks, but yeah, he gets in there and get the job done. So I would start Sean just to get the blood pumping.
Mhm.
And I would bench a fool and then send him in there later just to
Mhm.
finish. I would be like second string and say, okay, now a fool finish it off. And I would probably cut the Not because I don't like him. I think he's a great player. He's a legendary player. But during his time and era, he's a great player. But now he's a one-dimensional player. You know, so he can block, he can hit, but his passings and defensive skills not really there. You know, so if I was to start him, it'll hurt me for sure. You know, so Sean is more of that guy to get him riled up, get the team riled up. So as a team, if I had a team, Sean would definitely be my starting guy. You know, get him in there, get him pumped, get him hyped, and then Afu doesn't need all that hype. The team's hype, Afu get in there, and I mean, and I'm not saying Afu is not starting quality, definitely, but I would definitely get team because I mean, volleyball's what people don't realize. It's not a one-man sport. It's a team effort.
Right.
You know? So getting shown in there to get that team, just the team riled up. I mean, damn, you know, and then you put Afu in there, where Afu is like hungry. And Afu was like, I want it, coach. Come on, give it to me, coach. And then he gets in there. Boy, the other team better be running. You know, Afu be putting it down.
Yeah.
So that'll probably be that's probably my would be my guess, or that's probably my take on
Hey, you can't go wrong with any of those players. They're all great players. So
yeah, they're all great players, man.
Hell no. So we're winding down a little bit here. So last couple questions here. How has your success in Hmong volleyball helped you evolve in your personal life?
I think it helped a lot. You know, I mean, I think just being able to, you know, in life, it's the same. Building a reputation in life is the same as building a reputation in volleyball. You know, you go out, you being respected or acknowledged through your friends, your peers, you know, the younger generation, like, hey, legend, and it's like I don't even know who they are. Like, no, you're a legend. I'm like, I'm all right. No, like, no. I'm like, I'm right. Like, no. I'm like, all right, thank you. You know, it's very kind of you, but you know, being able to be recognized through the community, you know, it's an honor and it's a blessing. You know, to be able to be recognized by that many people. So in life, it's the same thing. You know, you walk on the court, whether they like sport or not. You know, that's my main platform of people walking up to me and patting me in the back. You know, hey, we hear great things about you. Things like that, and it humbles me. Sincerely, it humbles me. It humbles me to know that, you know, that many people, you know, which I myself would think I'm a mediocre average player, but to many eyes of the youngsters that see me play, they're like, no, you know, we don't think like that about you. You know, we idolize you.
Legend.
You know, things like that. So, you know, and it humbles me to really say, you know, I gotta watch what I do because I have people looking up to me. You know, and these are like children, kids. You know, could be my kids, could be, you know, relatives or whatever. You know, and you know, again, I think it's a blessing to be able to have that many people acknowledge you and stuff like that. But that's the impact that have made on me. You know, to realize that in life, you know, when we leave, all we have is nothing more but our legacy. And what is that? You know, being who we are, and volleyball is what I love to do. You know, and that's it. And then it's gonna be my family. What kind of man am I? You know, do I have integrity or not? You know, and all of that, you know, just come into play and just say, hey, look, I mean, it humbles me again to be able to have that kind of impact in volleyball. Excuse me, impact and influence my outside life.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I got to give you a lot of credit for noticing the responsibility and taking on the responsibility.
Oh,
as
thank you, man.
Like, you know, you got your exposure through volleyball, and a lot of people know you and look up to you, and sometimes, you know, we forget that comes with like some of the skills that volleyball has brought you all this, and you recognize it, and you're able to like accept the responsibility of being a role model out there for the people who are looking up to you. So I got to give you a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to be, like I go to the park and, people pick my brain all the time, and like I tell them, there's a difference between just listening to me and taking into action and executing what I just said back to you. So a lot of things like that, and I tell people, I said, you go out there and you have a lot of great players, and they walk up. You could be at a park, and they come up there with their nose held high, like they're a superstar at a park. Like, we're at a park, man.
Yeah.
We're not here at no tournament. You're not.
Right.
I get it. But your exposure, your name, your legacy is being built through us as the generation that look up to you. We're building your name. The least you can do is have respect back to those people. You know. And I see people that walk around like with their nose held high. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this guy? Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
So I mean, it dawns on to me just not to be that person. So I'm like, no, I can't be that guy. And you have a lot of people that look up to you, and that's all you have. And then you're gonna tear it back down. You work so hard for that reputation, and then you tear it back down. Just being some douche. I mean, it just
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's good, man.
Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
No, that's awesome. That's an awesome response. And I think, not naming any names, but like being a great player is just not, just not being a great player. You know what I mean? This volleyball, Hmong volleyball community is very like it's like a covenant group, so you gotta like kind of protect it, you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
Being a great player, you have in your hands kind of the power to kind of mold the next generation in your image. So if you're just a jerk and you're a certain way, then the next generation's kind of taper that way, you know what I mean? So most definitely what you're saying, it resonates, to anybody that's has reached that point, or you know what I mean, or is looking to reach that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I also want like the youth out there who are listening to Danny to, if you're a great player already right now, for you to kind of notice what Danny noticed and be another anchor to the next generation as well too. So just pass on the deed as well too, because there's still a lot of good young players out there. Hopefully they notice what you notice, and they notice some of the impact they have on the younger kids that's younger than them right now, and hopefully they could pull them along as well. So it's like a chain reaction. You know what I mean?
The hardest thing growing up, building that great name for yourself is being approachable. There's a lot of players out there, great players out there, that you can't approach. And there's a lot out there that I'm sure a few, I know a few, and every athlete out there knows quite a few who think that they're, oh, I'm better than everybody else, so I can care less. And it's sad. You have these young guys who idolizes you, because we Hmong people, we don't go nowhere beyond J4. That's like our that's our Olympic, and what we don't realize is that we don't have to qualify to play in J4. You have $250 register, bam, it can be the shit team and still play. But kids these days are like, no, I just want to be able to play J4. Well, you can play J4 any day. $250 here, I'll sponsor you, go play. But they're seeing these players, come out from all walks of life, all over the US, come and represent the best. And then they're thinking, that's my hero. We don't have anyone beyond that we can idolize and be a hero. So our athletes are pretty much just that, because we haven't have anybody gone pro, and our next to pro is J4. So when you have athletes at that caliber come out and play, and then start having that snotty attitude, and these kids are kind of like, oh, I kind of want to talk to him, but it's all right. you know, and you literally shoot down some of your next greatest generation or player of the next generation down because you have just discouraged them, or now they're afraid you're you know, inapproachable, so now they're afraid of you, you know. And it's sad that we Hmong people we still carry a lot of that attitude, you know. And so if we clean that up, I think that the volleyball game would come back, because the minute somebody sees a legend, they're like, oh yeah, you know, I want to pick his brain. Hey, what do I do? You know, and you're approachable. So it radiates that knowledge to, okay, now I want to play again, you know, versus, well, he was my idol, he's not approachable, I guess I will never get to his level, so I don't want to play. And then it keeps dying. And as you can see, like we were talking about the hype earlier, back in 99 compared to now, it's no longer the same. You know, it's day and night difference. Why? It's because you don't have that level of people come out and just like support the sport. Because now a lot of people are like, man, you know, the sport is, you know, you have a lot of great players, better potential, but the attitude sucks, right? And you hear a lot of people talk about these players, like, man, I don't like that guy, he's got a stupid attitude, on and on and on, you know. And so, you know, you segregate yourself from being that player in which you can pass down, keep your legacy going, you know, find yourself a protege, you know what I'm talking about? And like build on that and say like, okay, that's my protege right there, I'm gonna work on that, I see potential, and I'm gonna watch that protege grow. And instead of doing this, like, you know, you just lost one of that, and what happened? The sport dies out, you know. And so now everybody wants to be the next big superstar, and you go to the park and nobody practices how to get better, but everybody wants to be the next superstar who goes out there, and you can't even hit a basic two ball, and yet you're trying to get all fancy and learn how to cut. Like, dude, just learn how to put it straight down first, you know. And because they don't have that knowledge passed down from an experienced guy to say, look, don't try to get fancy yet. Learn to put 10 straight balls down. And when you can get 10 straight balls down, I'll teach you to go thumbs up or thumbs down, right? I'll teach you how to cut. Because now, okay, you mastered it. You perfected it. Let me teach you how to cut. And yet these kids go out there and the first thing they want to do is like, oh, I want to be like, you know, this guy. He can cut a ball. Bam. And I'm like, you can barely even hit a ball. And you want to learn how to cut her. Seriously? And that's why the sport is dying down. You know, it's because we don't have that kind of knowledge passed down to these kids to really hype them up or keep them motivated. You know, we're killing them by thinking, oh, I'll just go to the park and just keep playing. You'll learn it. No, they won't, because they're learning it wrong. You know, you started off wrong, you're gonna end up wrong. It is what it is.
You do 30 things wrong the wrong way, you're just gonna end up a player that's doing things the wrong way. You know. So
you know, it's just like people always have you know, you can start it off. The minute you start out wrong, your pattern can be on point all the way up, but it's not gonna go straight. It's gonna go sideways. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that. So you're doing it. You started off wrong, so that means that your path is gonna lead, you know, crooked. It's not gonna be a straight line. You know, that's just, you practice something wrong, and you're gonna master it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're gonna master. You will master it, but you're gonna master it wrong. You're gonna practice it wrong. So that's just life. You know. So a lot of kids don't see it like that. So.
Definitely.
It's a very unfortunate. But,
great message, man.
Dang, you already gave us, you know, so many advice and so many messages, but one last one, man. One last one. Advice to all the young bucks coming up.
My advice, man, if you guys want to do something, take pride in your work. You know, I myself, I'm like a perfectionist, you know, and if I don't take pride, I'm a contractor, you know. If I build a house, if I do some painting, I build a patio, and if I'm embarrassed to put my signature on it, trust me, I will not do it. In life, that applies for everything, you know. If you don't want to be the best and you don't want to put your signature on it, why waste your time? Spend it on something that's gonna be worthwhile. You know, I don't care if you like fixing cars. Go fix a car. It's gonna be more worthwhile than you coming out here and doing something, wasting your time. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Passion.
Yeah.
Passion is key to today's athlete. We don't have enough of that. People want to go out there and when it's time to warm up, damn, the court is full of players. I mean, you have people from not even on the team wanting to warm up with you because they want to show off.
Right.
But passion comes through. Passion would be like, okay, this guy plays with heart. And even if you're not the greatest hitter, if you put passion in being the best DS or setter, somebody is going to draft you. I don't care who it is. They'll be like, we need a great setter. We need a great DS. We need a great back row hitter. I don't care what it is. They'll draft you if you're willing to put your signature on. But when you're not willing to put your signature on it, trust me, you're not worth the dollar that you're putting out there. Your ticket is not even worth that.
Yeah.
Some people are like, he's a park player. No, we don't want him. We can maybe use a sub. And is that all you want to be recognized the rest of your life as a sub and put your signature on that? No, nobody wants to do that, So my advice out to these young kids, if you're going to chase something, if you want to call it a goal, a dream, live it, do it with passion. That way you have, some kind of signature to it. When you leave what you do, people know you for it. And lastly, if you want to be an athlete, you have to think like an athlete. You can't think like a park player. There's a difference between a volleyball player and there's a difference between an athlete. You look at the body and the athlete has the physique to go out there and perform. And I use this as an example all the time, as we're closing off here. You guys ever watch the Kung Fu movie where the master always have this guy go out and carry water and do shit like that?
Right.
What is the purpose behind that? It's because this guy is so clumsy. If master teaches him Kung Fu, he ain't gonna know how to do shit, right? You don't have the physique to do it. So yes, it may seem like it's torture, but your body has to be able to do everything that I'm gonna be able to teach you. And that comes into being an athlete. Your body has to be able to say, if I get in here and they want me to play middle, I can play middle. If I want to play right, I can play right. If they want to play left, I can play left. If they want me to play DS, I can play that because my body is built for it. I'm not a one-dimensional player. I can play whatever you want me to play. And that's why you see our generation, the older generation, even after we retire, we're still out there playing because we are diverse. And then you have these young players like close to 7 feet tall, 6 feet 1, 6 feet 2, and the minute they stop hitting, they're done. You don't go out there and see these players still playing. They're coming out there and just crossing their arms and just watching people playing. How come you ain't playing? I hurt my knee, or I got a bad shoulder. You're done. Like you can't set, you can't pass. No. Oh, okay, so you're done. So again, it comes to show for that. You want to do something, put your heart into it because people will see it. Even if they don't like you, they'll see it, and that's going to be your signature right there alone. So put your signature on whatever you do, kids. I mean, if you guys are out there, you guys hear this, that would be my advice to you is do something that's worthwhile of putting your signature on.
That's a great lesson. I think you mentioned something about legacy before too, man. Just being aware that whatever you do, that's your legacy, your reputation, people think of you.
Definitely.
So when you do it, like you said, put your all into it. Great message, man.
Definitely. Yep. It's all we have, man. It's all we have. Because many years from now, when we're gone, I mean, shit, you guys are gonna remember Danny's a douche, or man, he was a good guy, that's it, and some people maybe know me as a douche, but and that's how it is, right? And it reflects on the amount of work that you put forth, and that's all we're gonna have, I mean, you guys are probably gonna see my kids and like, yeah, your dad was a douche, or your dad was a great guy, right? And yeah, man, did you know that your dad was this and that? Even if you didn't know your dad, he was like that, and people don't think that far ahead in life. They think, what I do reflects tomorrow, but no, it reflects a very far future. So it's one of those things, man. And I wanna tell you guys, man, both of you guys, Will and Pang, I mean, it's a blessing. I'm very honored, and very fortunate to have been one of the few you guys selected to come on here and talk to you guys in regards to the sport and what I do and stuff like that. So again, I'm very honored, guys. I mean, you guys are doing a great job. We need more people like you guys going out there and recognizing people like that deserve to be recognized and stuff like that. And again, I'm very I feel very fortunate.
Oh man, that dude, we are fortunate to have you guys.
Yeah.
The thing is,
You're a
like,
goddamn legend, bro. So
you guys, like, you guys have, whenever you guys tell your stories, all you volleyball legends, when you guys tell your story, it's so motivational because everyone came from like different
backgrounds and
different backgrounds. But the thing is, everyone's chasing the same goal, so everyone's their journey is kind of different. So it's so important to get your stories out there. So
thank you.
It's like that rose that grew out of concrete, right? It's like your generation is like you guys just sprouted out of nowhere. Like you guys became legends out of nothing, basically. In this generation, they got YouTube, they got all these club ball, they got all these skills camps and all sorts of options and resources.
How could you not succeed?
What I mean?
Right?
Yeah, like
how could you not succeed? You have all this resources.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But then, like you got guys like you guys who just sprouted out of concrete. You know what I mean? Like
that's kind of true.
There
was no resource or there was no example ahead of you, so you kind of just mold it yourself.
Yeah.
But like I was telling some of my kids, it's like how could you not?
It's like you guys had a vision of how you guys wanted to be, and you guys just worked through so many trial and error, and then you guys finally got there. You know what I mean?
That was pretty much it, man. I think it was all through trial and error. I think that if you want it bad enough, there's always a way. There's no mountains in between. You're gonna find a way to walk over it or remove it. And that's just what we're willing to do compared to a lot of the new generation that's not willing to do that. And man, like I was saying earlier, I'm me being a perfectionist. I've always found ways for shortcuts. Me hitting the ball when I first started hitting the ball wasn't hard enough, and I had to figure from my self perspective, like how do I get this ball to have more gain, and have more, just more pound behind it, more power behind it.
Yeah.
And I figured, shit, if I was able to get enough airtime, I would be able to catch the ball on a momentum shift, and that's how you get power. Yeah. So the minute that ball goes up and it peaks, I'm hanging with that ball. The minute the ball comes down, you catch it right when the momentum shifts, and you put so much torque behind that ball, just going down that direction. And so it's like I had to do, man. I mean, the amount of sleep that I lost in there trying to figure things out. It's unbelievable. It's unimaginable, but kids nowadays are not willing to do that. They're not, and it's bad because they're, again, like I said earlier, they're so reliant on their youth and their height, and the dimension that they play nowadays too is that everybody drafts a hitter. Nobody puts in a libero first or DS. Because I mean, when I first started playing, my brother threw me in the back of the court. Go back there and pass. You're taking on heavy hitters and like learn how to dig. Once you learn the game, then you get to front row. And you're sitting back there shaking like shit. This guy is gonna 6-pack me. And back then we didn't call it a 6-pack. If you get hit in the face, they call it a facelift. damn, this guy just got a facelift, So you're like, oh shit, I'm about to give me a facelift. And it's like, no. So, we had to go through all that, and it's like now it's like, kids are being drafted front row, so they're very privileged, it's like, yeah, we need to hit it. So they don't see the hard work that we have to put forth versus them. So one of those things.
Definitely.
Yeah,
man.
guys.
All right, man.